there and said, please vote for me. You've debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, July 21st, and things that are trending this hour. The Beech Grove Police Department. They will be part of the relaunch of Live PD. It will be rebranded as On Patrol Live.
That is one of the best shows on all of television.
Well, there was talk that the Lawrence Police Department would be involved. They may still be, but now it's going to be at Beech Grove.
Well, Lawrence was on the original Live PD. If you've never seen the show, and Cops was a great show, and it was on forever and ever and ever, but it was highly edited. Obviously, it was taped well in advance. Live PD, if you've never seen the show, you must. Old episodes are on YouTube. You can go watch them. Dan Abrams, who is a famous legal commentator, his dad, I think, was a bigwig in Democrat politics, hosts the show, and they just had live camera crews on, I think it was Friday and Saturday nights, at different police departments across the country. So they would be like Dan Abrams and a couple of other guys, law enforcement people, would be in a studio providing like analysts of analysm is not a word. Analysm is not a word, and I was about to make it up. Analyst of what they were viewing. Analysis, perfect. Thank you. God bless you. Of what they were seeing, and they would say, "Okay, now we're going to go to San Jose," and it would be live, so you'd have no idea what would, it could be nothing. They could be end up chasing a guy. It could be a shootout. You had no idea, and they took it off the air when. And this is disgusting, but when being a police officer became a bad thing after the whole George Floyd incident, they took it off the air out of some sense of guilt, and I'm so happy they're bringing this back. Lawrence was involved in the original one. Beech Grove's going to be in this one. It's on Reels, I think, is the new station it's going to be on. It's awesome. Everybody should watch it.
Also trending this hour is Ernest Hemingway. Today would have been his birthday. He was born in 1899. Some of his famous books, The Old Man and the Sea, The Sun Also Rises, A Farewell to Arms, and For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh, yeah.
And finally trending, pink sauce. This is a sweet and savory condiment. Its ingredients include water, sunflower seed oil, raw honey, distilled vinegar, garlic, and Himalayan sea salt.
Well,
it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thanks for joining us this morning. So, Rob Kendall, you and Nikki Kelly from Indiana Capitol Chronicle were very busy last night. She was live tweeting all night long because the Indiana Senate Republicans proposed a bill that would ban nearly all abortions except for cases of rape, incest, or life of the mother.
Yes, and before we get into this, I want to say hello to all of the folks watching us on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube, type in Kendall and Casey, WIBC on your browser, and you can watch the show. Should be a wild, wacky, and animated show today with all the things we have to get to. So hello to all of those people. So here is how I would describe what happened yesterday. And I will go way back in the time machine to when I was a teenager. And when I was a kid, my favorite golfer was John Daly. And by the time I had reached being a teenager, John Daly was in the throes of all sorts of issues. Drinking, gambling, probably various and numerous weight, you name it. He was a train wreck. His prime, he was past his prime. And he was a walking, talking tabloid waiting to happen at any moment. And so as a result, he was not nearly as good at golf as he once was. But every so often in a major, John Daly on the first day would come out and fire like a 67 at the U.S. Open and would be either the leader or near the top of the leaderboard. And you would think, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
John Daly's going to do it. He's going to be back in the forefront. Let's go. And then what would inevitably happen is the next day, John Daly would have some sort of epic meltdown and shoot an 80 and maybe or maybe not snap a club and walk off the course. And I mention all of this because this is where we were at. I was watching this press conference yesterday with Rod Bray, the pro tem of the Senate, announcing the abortion bill that they would be presenting, which is a ban on abortion, which excludes rape, incest, health of the mother. It's not a perfect bill. There's some issues I have with it, but right now as presented, and I loathe to say anything nice about the Republican Party, it's a good bill. The problem is this is John Daly shooting the 67 on the first day of the U.S. Open. We're coming out of the gate great. The problem is there is a very slim chance that this bill will hold up through the Senate, much less when it goes to the House of Representatives.
Okay, so the bill could be amended over the upcoming special sessions,
Absolutely.
which starts on Monday.
I was told, so two things I will say. I talked to two different, very prominent people in the pro-life movement, and we'll get to what Right to Life said in just a second, which backs this up. Mm-hmm. One person told me in the Right to Life movement, they don't even have 26 votes to pass this bill as is.
Oh.
So what you're looking at is abortion of some sort will be reinserted into this bill, which is the most likely scenario. Probably a first trimester abortion, which would have been essentially the Dobbs bill. Mm-hmm. Now, the majority of Americans, polling shows the majority of Americans agree with first trimester abortion. After that, support drops dramatically. They do not support abortion after the first trimester. Mm-hmm. So in terms of trying to appeal to the masses, if that happens, you'd be checking that box. The problem is the Republican Party has been elected and has risen to prominence on the backs of conservative activists who were promised in exchange for years and years and years, in exchange for your support, your dollars, you're knocking on doors, you're handing out flyers, you're carrying your friends to the polls. If ever there comes a day to ban abortion, we will ban abortion. So while the Republican Party may, if ultimately it happens where they include abortion in this bill, think, well, we're appealing to the most amount of people, you are betraying your core constituency who you made promises to for years and years and years and years, which is totally on par with the Republican Party. Abandon the conservatives, the base who brought you to the dance, in favor of some perceived masses who will love you forever if you do this.
Okay, so the bill will not impact the morning after pill, birth control, fertility treatments, or treatment for miscarriages. But let's get to the right to life section of this. Mike Fisher, who is the president, said he made it very clear that he expected lawmakers to significantly restrict abortions. He said Roe is no longer in place. The Roe shield is no longer there. So this is the time. This is the time for Indiana to pass loving and compassionate protections for unborn children.
And then apparently last night, Nikki Kelly reported that Right to Life said that the bill, quote, falls woefully short. Mm-hmm. Quote, this bill goes through the motions on paper, but lacks any teeth. Mm. And so another very prominent life person that I talked to, I said, okay, score this bill 1 to 10 for me. And this person said I would call it a 7 right now, but I anticipate it being a 3.5 by the time we are done. Mm. And so what is going to be super interesting, because what did I tell you from the beginning? You know, Casey, you know that I hate coming in here and telling everybody how right I was. But what did I tell you the bill was likely going to look like?
Much.
I told you I thought the initial bill was going to look like this, as it does. And what I tell you is going to happen, it's going to be watered down, and that is right where we are headed. This is why I am paid the big bucks. Damn, I am good.
So later this hour, we're going to have Jim Merritt on.
Yes.
And he's going to kind of walk us through the process because, like you mentioned, it started with the Senate, and now it's going to go over to the House, and that's where it could change.
Yes.
And he's going to help us understand that better, that process.
Now, what will be interesting, I know we got to get to a break, because we got to talk about the other part of this press conference, which, if you were to look up ridiculously stupid in the dictionary, the second part of this press conference, there'd be a giant picture of Rod Bray, who my new name for him, and I'll tell you why next segment, is going to be Colonel Parker Bray, because he is the snowman in the Elvis Presley biopic at the carnival that used to con people and think they're getting something while they're getting nothing. So talk about that next. Here's the deal. If you're a pro-life person and they screw you again, if you're a conservative and they screw you again, is this the moment that you finally walk away from this party? How much more are you willing to take? This is the question you better start to wrestle with real quick, because that train is coming down the tracks and it is about to happen.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And like Rob mentioned, coming up next, we're going to talk about your money. Yes, your money. We'll do that from 93 WIBC.
Today I'm calling for a federal gas tax Democrats
not going to provide significant savings at the pump.
Republicans.
Another gimmick, another Band-Aid.
So-called gas tax holiday.
Even Barack Obama called it a gimmick.
That is such an obvious gimmick. This is a plan that would save you pennies a day for the summer months.
Check in often.
All of us, Democrats, Republicans, Independents.
And hear the stories that affect all of us.
The American people.
This is 93 WIBC.
Old National Bank is asking everyone to get old. But first, people have questions.
Will it take me years to get old?
No, getting old can literally happen in minutes.
Is getting old like a complicated process?
Not at all. Just stop into one of our banking centers or visit our website. We even have an app for that.
Will I look any different after I get old?
You may look happier and more relaxed with a banking partner like us.
Definitely want to get old.
Introducing Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Lose your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a beach day. And with 35 miles of pristine, sugary white sand, it's easy to see why. So let's grab the beach bag, the beach ball, and the boogie board. Let's pack the suits, the sunscreen, and the sunglasses. Take a dip in the emerald green waters of the Gulf. And then take in a breathtaking sunset at the end of the day. So let's make a beeline to the beach. And let's shine. Plan your next getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Interest rate hikes are slowing home price growth, but you can still get top dollar for your home right now with Mark Dietel. Maybe you want to maximize your equity now while you can, but you are not sure where to move next. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers on your home in 3 days or it's listed for free. Get maximum convenience and maximum sales price. Listen to what Randy in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietel. I had a rental property I was ready to sell to cash out in our hot market. Selling fast was good, but more importantly, I was looking to sell for top dollar. Mark Dietel delivered both. I got 20 offers and sold for $15,000 over high asking in a few weeks. Mark is the guy to get the best price in Indianapolis. Call the agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work.
It's time to learn the truth about probiotics and join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align probiotics for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel. Get $2 off your first month of Align at alignprobiotics.com.
MVP's bonus days are here for pros. For 12 days, pros save big and MVPs get even more. Because MVP's Pro Rewards members can earn bonus points to redeem for rewards. Earn points on every dollar spent up to $1,000 and get up to 3 times more points when you shop select brands and products. Find MVP's bonus day savings from July 11th to the 22nd in-store and online. Exclusively at Lowe's. Exclusively for pros. MVP's Pro Rewards program subject to program terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/L/pro loyalty terms. Subject to change.
The amount of money our clients receive with a simple cash-out refinance is life-changing. Learn more and get pre-approved at thehomeloanexpert.com.
NMLS number 1326241.
August 11th, returning to Carmel for one night only at the Palladium, the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Tickets on sale now at the Center's box office or online at thecenterpresents.org.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's like a jackal from hell.
And Casey Daniels. On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. morning and thank you for joining us. If you'd like to follow along on YouTube, just head over there and type in Kendall and Casey WIBC in the search bar. We're also live streaming on Facebook and on Twitter, and we appreciate the comments. I'm on there today now, Rob, so I'm gonna talk back with the comments.
Great.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So let's get to part 2 of what happened at the State House.
Yes. So it's so funny. So I'm watching this press conference, and they get through the abortion bill, and obviously, as we talked about last segment, it is not going to last, but it's a good start. So I'm thinking, okay, it's pretty good. Second part of the press conference is about what to do with all the money they've stolen from you that they don't need to fund the government. They give it a cute little name called surplus instead of overtaxation. And so Rod Bray is the pro tem of the Senate. And by the way, after yesterday, my new name for Rod Bray is Colonel Parker Bray, because in the new Elvis biopic, as we talked about, Colonel Parker, who became Elvis's manager, spent his early life in the circus. And in the circus, there's what they call the snowmen, whose job is to get you to part with your money for the utterly ridiculous and get you to think, wow, this is so cool. What a deal I'm getting. So from now on, because that is who Rod Bray was yesterday, he is now forevermore on this show to be referred to as Colonel Parker Bray. So he gets up there, Casey.
I got to write that down.
And keep in mind, they're sitting on, the state of Indiana is sitting on $6.1 billion of overtaxation. That's your money they stole that they have no use for to fund the government. And his wizard of smart idea, by the way, keep in mind, the state law says anything $2 billion and under, you don't get back already. Then they changed the state law to say anything between $2.5 billion and $5 billion goes to teacher pension debt. So his new wizard of smart plan for the $1.1 billion that's sitting there is $250 million, Casey, is going to go back to the government because, well, we funded so many projects last budget cycle, and inflation has made it so we couldn't do those projects. So $250 million, because heaven forbid government ever take a cut or a pause or a delay, Colonel Parker Bray is proposing that we give $250 million back to the government because we'll never stop government anything. And then, instead of giving you your money, their proposal is, we're going to cap the gas tax, not suspend it, not stop it. We're going to cap it at its current level. And I'll get to why that's a con here in just a second. But we're also going to suspend utility payments.
7%. Yeah, they're going to suspend the 7% sales tax on utilities.
Okay, so I did the math, and on my utilities, and I'm going to go through and get an actual number of what the sales, because you pay a sales tax on your utility bill every month.
By the way, my utility bill, $50 higher than it has been typically.
Okay, so that's water, sewer, phone, electric, gas. You pay a sales tax. I'm going to guess the average person, and I'll do the math on mine to know for sure, is $20-ish total, maybe, probably not, but let's just round it up and say it's $20. So at that rate, Holcomb, I never thought I would say something nice about Holcomb, and this is as backhanded a compliment as you can get. I never thought somebody could come up with a more stupid idea than Holcomb has to give you $225 after he already couldn't give you the $125 in a timely fashion. But Rod Bray yesterday, old Colonel Parker Bray said, hold my beer, and has proposed suspending the utility sales tax, which means at $20 a month, it would take you 11 months to get what Holcomb has said we'll give you in 3 months.
Okay, so Holcomb said that he wanted to give Hoosiers a $225 refund.
Yes.
So what, that's not going to happen now?
No, Bray's plan is to give you nothing. We're just going to suspend your utility payments, and so you might get the $225 back, but for the average person, it'll probably take you 10 to 11 months to get that $220 back. And the other side of this, and this again, old Colonel Parker Bray, the snowman, comes out and says, well, we're gonna cap the gas tax.
Right.
So it's the sales tax on gas, the tax increase on gas, the actual gas tax is already capped because it only goes up every July 1st. So he's not doing anything for you there. The sales tax on gas,
which fluctuates,
he knows it's going down because the price of gas is going down.
Right.
He's not doing anything for you. Oh, well, it'll never exceed this. It's not going to right now exceed that in the near future anyway because people can't afford to drive, so they've stopped driving. These people are total dirtballs. Old Colonel Parker Snowman Bray. It's just every time I think these people cannot disappoint me anymore.
There they go again.
There they go again.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Jim Merritt is going to join us next, and we're going to discuss the process on how the abortion bill debate will work and what's likely to happen. That's next from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Why did Mayo Clinic choose Hancock Health as a member of its select Mayo Clinic Care Network? It might have been the fact that we have one of the nation's safest hospitals. It could have been our high patient satisfaction scores. It's somewhat less likely that it was our cafeteria's sushi Thursdays, but we doubt if that hurt anything. See what Hancock Health's new clinical collaboration with Mayo Clinic means for you at hancockregional.org/Mayo Clinic.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain for only $49.99. Become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar times are 8 to 10 p.m. on Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers, and 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Registration 30 minutes before seminar.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Ward Daniels, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Will he run? Sunny and 77 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Former Indiana Governor and Vice President Mike Pence laying out his vision for the country after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
In a speech at the Florence Baptist Temple in Florence, South Carolina, he celebrated the court's move, saying he wanted to see abortion bans in all states while calling on lawmakers to do more to help families.
Let us also redouble our commitment to provide care and support to expectant mothers.
The trip to South Carolina is his third since leaving office and comes ahead of a planned speech in New Hampshire next month, fueling speculation of a potential presidential run in 2024. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The U.S. sending more rocket launchers to Ukraine. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Wednesday said they're needed because Russia is keeping up its relentless shelling. He called it a cruel tactic that harkens back to the horrors of World War I. The addition of weapons a day after, Ukrainian First Lady Elena Zelenska asked Congress for more aid in the war. And now the stock report, a mixed bag on Wall Street. The Dow is down 117 to 31,736. The Nasdaq is up 31.5 to 12,479. And the S&P 500 is down 5 to 3,956. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids, and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Business electronics recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Against the wind, we were running against the wind. We were young.
Good morning, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Casey, I don't know if you know, there was a big press conference yesterday down at 200 West Washington Street.
I heard something about that.
Yes, the pro tem of the Senate, Rod Bray, came out with a big announcement on what they intend to do about abortion. Mm-hmm. And as of right now, it is a ban on abortion with the exclusion of rape, incest, health of the mother. Mm-hmm. And so I want to find out what happens now, because the bill starts in the Senate and nobody, and I mean nobody, Casey, knows the Indiana Senate better than our good friend of the show. He spent 30 years in the Indiana Senate, rose all the way to number 2. How did you not end up number 1, Jim Merritt? How were you never number 1 in the Senate?
Well, caucus chairman seemed to fit me, Robert.
Because you're number 1 in our hearts. You're number 1 in our hearts.
Good morning, Casey.
Look at him dodge and duck. Jim Merritt with us, former Indiana State Senator. So Rod Bray yesterday, and Abdul and I talked about this on State House Happenings when we put this together earlier today, looked so uncomfortable the whole time in that press conference. You have been a part of these hot button issues. Don't you guys live for this? Shouldn't you have wanted to be there?
Yeah, we do live for this. I was talking with Senator Buck yesterday, who represents Kokomo in such an outstanding way. And this is the time where those of us that have been there a long time or even briefly, this is what we live for. The idea of having a committee hearing on some little matter completely shrinks compared to these issues of such great importance. And we have talked about this for decades, Robert and Casey. And at time, in NASCAR or race car, in some sort of Indy car, they always say about midway through the race, it's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go, meaning it's time to put into fifth gear and do the people's work.
He used a term, he being Rod Bray, after he had made his announcement. Abdul asked the question about, hey, there is no period in which people can get an abortion other than these exceptions in the bill. And I'm paraphrasing here, Abdul essentially asked him, hey, do you see that coming back in? And his response was, and again, I'm paraphrasing, but the word I'm using at the end is not in the bill yet. And that, for me, drew all sorts of antennas up because Rod Bray's an attorney. He's a good attorney unless he's writing a law to curb the governor's executive powers, in which case then he was Lionel Hutz from The Simpsons. But in most cases, I've heard he's a pretty good attorney. He used that term deliberately, which makes pro-life people super nervous because yet means abortion could get back into the bill. What sayeth you?
Or if you look at the other side, it could be a complete ban. He was obviously giving room for his caucus. He was giving room for the other 149 members of the General Assembly. And so it's a very tender, sensitive situation. And Senator Bray is on a tightrope. There's just no question about it. And I played this role many times as caucus chairman, where you're trying to gather the flock and get them into a situation which is good public policy. And that's what ought to happen in August. This is going to take a long time. But
they don't have a long time.
They don't have a long time. However, it has to be a transparent policy procedure of putting a good work product together in committee and then on the floor of the House of Representatives and the Indiana Senate.
Now, you mentioned it's going to take a long time, policy procedure, and I'm just learning, like some of our listeners. So is it typical to start in the Senate and then go to the representatives?
Well,
isn't that a little backwards?
No, if it's a fiscal matter, constitutionally, it has to start in the House of Representatives. But public policy can, if it doesn't have a fiscal impact or a fiscal, like a budget, it can start anywhere. It can start in the Senate or the House.
But doesn't this have a fiscal impact because they're talking about setting aside monies for social services?
Right. There will be a financial package coming over from the House of Representatives. You with I think it's Senate Bill 2.
Yes.
That has a budget impact. Most what they're saying is this is what we will support in a piece of legislation. Obviously, they're going to be opening up the budget, and that'll come over from the House of Representatives. Senate Bill 2 might move, but it really is a statement of public policy that the members of the Indiana Senate Republican caucus are making today.
Indiana State Senator, it's so hard to say former for you. Former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt is our guest. We're working through this press conference yesterday that the Senate Republicans had on the abortion bill and what happens now. Okay, so I maintain, Jim, that the happiest guy in the whole world right now is Todd Houston, the Speaker of the House, because Monday morning when the whole thing starts and the pro-abortion maniacs are down there, he can just look at them and go, Rod Bray's office is down that way. What do? Do they flip a coin on an issue like this? You take it. No, you take it. Nobody was eager to take this, it looks like.
Well, I wish the governor in the beginning would have had a pre-meeting.
Yeah.
I'm certain that Rod and Todd, Todd,
I love that.
Senator Bray and Speaker Houston have had countless meetings, and they've taken a look at the ideas coming out of their own caucuses, and because, Casey, about the financial aspect, you have to divide up and understand exactly what the strengths of your caucus are, number one, and what the constitutional responsibilities of the two. And I would imagine both issues are very difficult because, as you saw in the package that Senator Bray brought yesterday, there's a lot of great ideas about helping Hoosiers through this situation because increasing the adoption credit tenfold is a wonderful idea, and as well as foster care and women's health services. I'm really appreciative of the fact that the Senate Republican caucus has come with a strong package of what they will support. And both sides of the building took one issue, and I think it's a great start to the session that's going to happen next week.
It's the Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC. Couple minutes left here with former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt. All right, so what happens now? Does Bray, now that they've had the big unveiling, get all the Republican members of the Senate back in the room and say, all right, a show of hands? Is it like a jury when you go in before you start debating guilty, not guilty? What happens next?
Well, in previous times, in the 90s, if you will, in the 2010s, the Rules Committee was kind of a graveyard in the Senate. That's where bills were assigned to go away to die, if you will. But
like everything I would have been for goes to the Rules Committee.
I don't know about that. And but the bottom line here is that the Rules Committee has been utilized by the Senate pro tem. Senator Long used that. I was on the Rules Committee, and Senator Bray has used that, and they're the chairman of that committee. And I noticed that bills have been assigned to that committee. So to answer your question directly, what will happen is that Senator Bray will call a Rules Committee hearing on the bill, if you will, and we'll have countless hours of testimony, and I'm hopeful that your listeners, very loyal listeners, Robert and Casey, come to the State House.
We're up for Marconi. Did you hear?
Huh?
We're up for Marconi. Did you hear?
I didn't know that. Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you. You're
Do they really know you?
Go ahead.
But bottom line is they will have hearings on streaming and as well as in person. And I would really encourage every Hoosier that wants to tell their story to come to the State House or send a message via email or snail mail or whatever you want to do. It's very important right now for your voice to be heard.
I was going to ask you about that because the Indiana Democratic Party is planning a pro-choice rally at, I believe, noon on Monday. Will that really affect how does it sway them at all?
I think.
Or do they go in already knowing what they're going to do?
Oh, no. I think each and every individual member of the General Assembly has their own opinion. But they want to see activity. They want to see people coming to the State House. They want to hear from people. And so that's the glory of being in the legislature, is for your constituents to let you know exactly how they feel. And I don't know if there's wiggle room. Casey, Robert knows this. From day one, I was pro-life for the three exceptions. And from day one to the last day when I stepped away, that is exactly what I would accept.
So you're saying that they encourage people to go to the State House unless their name is Robin Kendall.
Hey, before we let you go, I will get you out of here with this. You know how I am, Jim. Mm-hmm. Don't threaten me with a good time. The more people hate me or the more mad they get, the more I like it. Mm-hmm. Does that worry? Like, were you ever intimidated or your colleagues intimidated by these maniacs being on the lawn or anything like that? Did that ever, I'm saying from a safety standpoint, like were you ever like, boy, these people are nuts?
You know, Robert, in mid 1990s, 1995, we had 25,000 people gather outside the State House and then come in the State House and go upstairs, go downstairs, go upstairs, and circle inside the State House. Mm-hmm. I was the type of legislator that if you called me, I'd call you back. If you emailed me, I'd email you back. If you sent me a letter, I'd write you back. And if you got a little anxious in an email, meaning mean, I'd go see you with a copy of the email. So I was relatively fearless, and I really wanted to hear people, and Robert, you'll love this. Whenever I went to somebody's door with the printed email, with it, ask them what they meant by calling me this name, they would back.
Well, sure. It's easy to be a keyboard
warrior.
So
anyway, tell your story. Come to the State House. Contact your legislator and be gracious, be personal. What it means to you.
Mm-hmm. He is a national treasure, friend of the show, former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt. Thank you, my friend.
Robert.
93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey Show.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. Summer specials for you right now at C&J Well. You need an annual bacteria test, and it usually runs $200, but right now it's only $99. How about the 6-point well inspection and bacteria test? Normally $450, but right now it's $375. This includes the bacteria test, a flow evaluation, a switch analysis, a piping exam, a pressure tank check, and a pump check. Keep your water source healthy and dependable. C&J Well Company, they're local, they're exceptional, they're affordable. 317-852-WELL.
Think back. Think back to when back or neck pain didn't rule your life. Now, think about standing up to back pain today. Because you can. With highly skilled care from IU Health, Indiana's only nationally ranked healthcare system. Our spine experts use an integrated approach to care and the latest surgical and non-surgical methods, so you can move away from back pain and on with life. Schedule a safe in-office appointment or visit us virtually at iuhealth.org/spine program.
When your celebration of life is prepaid in advance, it becomes a gift from you to your family later, because no one should have to plan for a loss while they're experiencing one. Paying in advance protects your loved ones and gives you the peace of mind you deserve. Let us help you plan every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Leopard Mortuaries. Find us at dignitymemorial.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Do you ever have a task or an errand, something that you need to do, and it's just weighing you down? When you're in that position, do you just do it right away, get it off your plate, or do you just procrastinate?
Oh, no, I'm a doer.
You just get it done.
Around the house, dishes, laundry, grass cutting. I'm a worker bee.
Yeah, just get it done and you feel better.
Yeah.
It's behind you.
Sure.
Well, I've had this task lingering over me for a while, and yesterday I was completely and fully prepared for mission accomplished. It did not turn out that way.
By the way, before you get into the story, let's say hello to everybody watching us in the YouTube chat. We love your comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, wherever you're listening from. But you can just put Kendall and Casey, WIBC, in your YouTube browser, and you can watch the show. I'm excited about this next segment because usually I am the mad raving lunatic on this show. And for this next segment, I'm just going to sit back and play the role of Casey and say, Casey, you had an experience at the BMV yesterday. How'd it go?
Oh, boy. Well, all you have to say is BMV and you know how it went. So I had to get my Indiana license, and I had 2 vehicles that I had to get registered and Indiana plates for. So I go to the BMV, and I am completely 100% totally prepared.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to take my Michigan license with me.
Oh.
My Social Security card. I had my passport with me.
Yep.
2 items of mail here in Indiana to prove that I live here now.
Welcome to the state. We try to make it as easy as possible to live here.
I had the vehicle titles with me. I had my insurance, my proof of insurance, and I also had the VIN number form.
So I am anticipating, because you personally, as a citizen of the state, were so well prepared that your government was also so well prepared, and you had a quick and pleasurable experience.
So I go in and... First of all, I do the license, right? And because I have a motorcycle endorsement, they made me retake the motorcycle test.
Wait. Did you have to retake the car test too?
No, I didn't have to retake the driving test. I know. And I questioned that. And I did the whole, can I speak to the manager? I can't believe that I did that. But I was curious. Why are you making me retest for the motorcycle but not the car?
And the answer was?
endorsements don't transfer from state to state.
Oh, sure. Because
here in Indiana, they do in Florida and they do in Michigan.
Well, it's funny that
they
you would say
don't
that
in Indiana.
Because, Casey, our slogan is a state that works. And it would appear that in this case, it is not working for you.
So I take the test.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
I aced it.
Oh,
so
good
I
for
passed
you.
the test. So we get my driver's license done, which does include the motorcycle endorsement.
Oh.
Good. That one's off
Perfect.
the table.
Great.
Now we move on to registering the vehicles.
Mhm.
First, I start with my car. No problem. I've got the title with
Yep.
me. I've got the VIN number form with me. I've got proof of insurance.
Oh.
Lickety split, no problem.
You
Good.
You did all the work for them.
I was prepared.
Yes.
Like I said, I
They
was
probably-
ready to go.
They probably rubber stamped that and said, "Have a nice life. Welcome to Indiana."
And I got to pick out, my God Bless America
Oh,
plate.
great.
And I got
Sure.
the paper one, the
Yeah.
temporary one. The
What-
next metal one will be in the mail soon.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Fabulous.
Now we're moving on to the motorcycle.
How much does that cost you to do that, by the way? How much you pay for the privilege of driving in the state of Indiana?
$267.
Oh, again, it's silly me, Casey, and I realize I'm a raving mad conservative right-wing lunatic, but it doesn't seem like it's very inviting to charge someone just to put a little metal plate on the back of their car for the privilege of driving on our crappy roads.
And you know what she said? Would you like to extend this out for 5 years? And I said, no, give me the 1 year because who knows what's going to happen. As much as I've moved around recently, I may not even be here. I don't know. So I did the 1 year. And then we move on to the motorcycle. I'm trying to get the plates for the motorcycle.
Yes.
And again, I have my proof of insurance. I have the title with me, and I have the VIN number form that has been filled out in advance by a police officer.
Oh, you are so prepared.
Yes, I had a police officer come to the house, get the VIN numbers, signed off on the form, printed out from the BMV. I'm good to go, right?
Yeah.
She does all the stuff, is ready to hit the OK send button, and then says, wait a minute. We can't accept this. The VIN number form.
Wait, what happened?
Apparently, when the police officer was filling out the form, he had a little typo. He was supposed to put a D, and instead he crossed it out, and it was supposed to be an H.
Sure.
So he scribbled on it.
Oh.
And she says, we can't accept this.
Why not?
Because there's a scribble there, and the police officer should have known better. We can't accept that.
So wait. Because the police officer made a scribble. You did all the work for them. You were proactive. You tried to make government's life as easy as possible.
Yes.
But because there's a scribble, they're not accepting your paperwork.
They're not accepting it. And so, again, I said, come on, really? Can your boss come out here and talk to me about this? Because I am completely prepared. And I even said, I have been in this building before where people next to you, well, they don't have the proper, you didn't bring your proof of insurance.
Sure.
Nope, I had that. Well, you didn't bring enough ID. Nope, I had that. You didn't bring the mail required. Nope, I had it. I had it all. But because of a scribble, they wouldn't accept it. She said, no, we could send it to the state, and they're just going to send it right back, so you'll have to be back here anyway.
So think about this. We are a state that our governor is obsessed with how many big businesses he can attract and how many tax giveaways that he can throw at them because we want people to move here. This is a person, you, who has moved here, who not only have you moved here, you have tried to be as proactive as you possibly can to make government's job as easy as possible. I guarantee no other person who walked in the door that day was as prepared as you.
I'm telling you, nobody.
And because of a scribble, not done by you, it's not like you scribbled.
Right.
The police officer, the law enforcement officer, whose job it is to know the law, because he scribbled, they are saying, no, ma'am, welcome to our state.
You got to come back. Do it again. I said, so you're telling me that my time is not important? So now she said, just ride the bike up here. We'll do it. No, I had the paperwork. So the $267 does not include the motorcycle license. So not only do I have to go back and do it again, the price is going to go up. Welcome to the great state of Indiana.
This is why, Casey, I hate the Indiana Republican Party.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Complaints welcome here.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, the beach is just the beginning. Because here, there's so much more to explore. So let's paddle, and maybe even parasail. Let's hit the trails, the coffee shops, the quaint boutiques, and craft breweries. And then let's indulge in some fresh seafood with a sea view. From the Gulf Coast to the Bay, there's something for every taste and every interest. So let's make the most of every sun-drenched minute, and let's shine. Start planning your next escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Mark loves summers in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Old National Bank is asking businesses to get old. But first, they have questions.
Who runs my business if I get old?
You do. You can get old and remain young.
Is that possible?
With a commercial bank as good as Old National, yes.
What will it feel like to get old?
Well, business owners describe a feeling of euphoria, having local decision-making and committed relationship bankers.
Okay, one old guy coming up.
Introducing Old National Bank, where business relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC.
Kindergarten? It's closer than you think. Will your child be ready? Let us help with On My Way Pre-K. Your child may qualify for high-quality pre-K right here close to home. And it could be free. Indiana's On My Way Pre-K program is the best way to ensure your 4-year-old is ready for kindergarten. Get information and eligibility requirements at onmywaypre-k.org. When you want what's best for your child, you want On My Way Pre-K.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what's on state lawmakers' plate as they get ready for the special session. Plus, Senator Mike Braun tries to convince fellow senators in Washington to pass his balanced budget. And an Indy man killed in a crash in southern Indiana. Donnie Burgess reports. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He's hitting the road a second day in a row. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The day after a trip to Massachusetts to focus on climate change.
This is an emergency.
President Biden will be going to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania this morning to push for $37 billion to help communities fight rising crime.
Under the president's proposal, we'd see money dispersed to different cities to allow them to hire 100,000 additional police officers. They also would see more money to go to help clear some of the backlogs impacting various courts, which means that some violent offenders who may be on the streets months now, would be actually back in jail.
Fox's Mark Meredith.
Republicans say this is an issue that can't be solved overnight. They say if the White House really wanted to get serious on this, they would start with the border to insist that they are going to enforce the laws already on the books.
Now, Republicans blame Biden policies for a surge of migrants coming here illegally. 2 Texas men have been indicted for transporting migrants leading to death in the back of a hot truck.
A tractor trailer was discovered with 53 dead or dying migrants inside. They likely died agonizing deaths in extreme heat. Well, now, Texas Democratic Congressman Henry Cuellar told Border Report that 11 of the 53 migrants inside had serious criminal records in the U.S.
Fox's Matt Finn in Eagle Pass, Texas. Next hour, a Minneapolis police officer fired after being implicated in George Floyd's death faces sentencing in federal court for violating Floyd's civil rights. Thomas Lane also pleaded guilty to state manslaughter charges, not murder, like Derek Chauvin, the ex-cop convicted of kneeling on Floyd's neck. There's another primetime hearing tonight into the Capitol riot. The committee investigating plans to focus on then-President Trump's conduct after his supporters stormed in. But House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy tells Fox Democrats are running a one-sided, unfair probe.
It's only the majority who has subpoena power. They would never allow Republicans into those meetings when they interview the individuals.
Steve Bannon's trial resumes today with the ex-Trump White House advisor's defense taking over. He's charged with contempt of Congress not cooperating with the committee. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What the bill says on abortion. Sunny and 78 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. The abortion bill that will be considered next week by the Indiana General Assembly includes a ban with just a few exceptions.
Our underlying goal is to protect human life by limiting abortion to the life of the mother, rape and incest, and doing everything we can to support women and babies in the state of Indiana.
State Senate President Pro Tem Rob Bray says that they plan to put about $50 million into making adoption cheaper and easier and supporting long-term contraception. Lawmakers are also planning to help you with inflation, but not quite the way you might think. They will not be pursuing Governor Holcomb's plan to give you back over $200 in tax money. Instead, they are cutting and suspending certain taxes for the next 6 months. Lawmakers plan to suspend state taxes on utilities like power and water, and they're also capping the gas tax at around 29%. The federal government has borrowed too much money, says Indiana Senator Mike Braun.
Money should only be borrowed if you're going to invest it or get a tangible return on it,
which he says the government is not doing. He wants to start paying off the country's massive debt, but by pushing a bill requiring the federal government to have a balanced budget. That proposal was voted down by his fellow colleagues, though. A man killed in a crash on the northwest side this morning, southbound I-65 near 865. The man hit by a semi, police say. A man from Indianapolis died in a crash in Jackson County Wednesday. Donnie Burgess.
19-year-old Jacob Peelman was driving southbound on I-65 when he smashed into the back of a parked trailer that was being pulled by a Freightliner truck. Indiana State Police say Peelman died at the scene. There's no word on what exactly caused the crash, but state police are not pointing the finger at alcohol or drugs at this time. There's a toxicology test scheduled, which investigators hope will produce some sort of answer. The driver of the truck was okay. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Gas is $4.50 a gallon on average in Indiana today, says Gas Buddy. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids, and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, July 21st, and things that are trending this hour. Dave Chappelle, his show in Minneapolis has been canceled by the venue over backlash over his content. Also trending, hashtag National Junk Food Day. And finally trending, this from CNBC. They say 40% of U.S. workers are considering quitting their jobs soon. They released research saying that 4 million people have left their jobs each month in the U.S. so far this year.
Okay, so before we get to our topic du jour here at the top of the hour, I want to touch on this, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Because I think this is very interesting. And by the way, hello to all the people watching us in the YouTube chat. Those of you who comment, we love each and every one of you. Kendall, if you just search Kendall and Casey, WIBC, in your YouTube browser, you can watch us as well. Mm-hmm. This is fascinating. So you said 40% of
U.S. workers are considering quitting their jobs soon.
So this is what happens. And I can say this as someone who has owned businesses and has now spent the past 5 years of my life as a worker bee. So I've been on both sides of this equation. And as usual, I'm uniquely qualified to weigh in and provide incredible insight.
Of course.
This is what happens when liberal utopianism, and I think I may have just made a word up there, but when liberals always make these it's always the theoretical, right? The evil owner, the evil, Scrooge McDuck, Mr. Burns-esque billionaire owning the company has too much power, and the workers should be in charge, and the workers should have all the say. And, well, this was built on the backs of workers. Remember Barack Obama, the famous thing, you didn't build that, the whatever road or business or whatever he was talking about. And this is what happens when workers do acquire a great deal of leverage, which we have seen in this society because the government bribed so many people not to work. The fewer people who wanted to work, so people who would work had a whole bunch of leverage. Now, it was done through government bribery, but what you now have is an unsustainable workforce and an unsustainable society. You need people to do all sorts of jobs. People should not be able to walk into a $15 an hour job fresh out of graduating, high school unless you have some great skill or in high school or, some great skill. And now we have workers who can demand where they go, when they go, how they go. I'm not talking about if you work hard or you have great skills or your ability to improve yourself, making yourself more valuable and creating options. We're talking about universally workers are now saying, we're not doing that.
Right.
And what happens now? Things are closed. Things are not open. Things close early. You can't get stuff because people don't want to work because now that they've been empowered, they're uber entitled.
4 million people quitting their jobs in the first half of the year.
It is unsustainable for society to continue down this path. So once again, the Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, AOC, liberal utopia on full display. There's a reason people are the boss. There's a reason people own the companies because it's their money and they know what the hell they're doing.
He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. It's 9 minutes after 10 o'clock, and you mentioned Joe Biden. And let's get to it. Okay?
Is this, of all the things he's done, is this perhaps the most egregious?
The worst gaffe ever?
Yes.
The biggest lie ever? Did he misspeak and speak in present tense when he meant past tense? What is going on? And why has there not been any sort of correction or denial from the White House?
Okay, why don't we do this? Since so many people are playing along at home with us on the YouTube chat and listening on these very powerful airwaves, why don't we play the clip and see if anything stands out to everyone, okay? All right, take a listen.
My mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Okay. Let's bring Kevin in because Kevin is a neutral arbiter. We are enraged right-wing radicals in many people's opinions. So, Kevin, As the neutral arbiter, did anything in that audio clip stand out to you that made you go, what?
Yeah, I was very surprised to hear that he said he had cancer.
Thank you. The president of the... Let's play it again just through that in case people didn't hear it the first time.
Edward Snowden exposes the United
That's
States.
Joe Rogan. We can play him too. Let's just real quick, just to make sure people don't think we're making this up. As Kevin attempts to pull the audio up again. He definitely...
My mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
Okay.
And why I can't for the longest time.
Right. So he didn't say had.
Had, right. Because we know he's had skin cancer before, which is pretty common, not life-threatening.
Right. So, and I'm not asking this to be mean. I'm not asking this to be facetious. If this is a gaffe, this is... Somebody needs to just check him out immediately of the White House. If you don't know whether you have or don't have cancer, it is a level of your marbles not being there that you shouldn't be walking or driving by yourself, much less running an entire country. And if he does have cancer, then why are we just finding out about this now? And as you said, at least as of last check, all quiet on the Western Front from the White House.
Nobody's walked it back.
Now, maybe I missed it. Maybe there was something this morning. I don't know. You monitor the news closer than I do. I just show up here and start talking.
I haven't seen anything.
So...
But that's the thing. Is it a gaffe? Is it a lie? Is it a confession? What is going on? And this was a press release about climate change.
Yeah, he was in Massachusetts, press conference on climate change. This isn't the Bata-Cath care. This isn't him stuttering. This isn't the 9 billion other just ridiculous gaffes of an old man who's lost his mind. We've played it for you twice. There's no...
And he blamed it on an oil slick on his windshield.
And the
state of Delaware.
Look, he lies all the time about everything, about the thing about him riding the trains and everything else. So
right.
I'm removing that from the equation. I'm saying the president of the United States said he has cancer.
His doctor issued a health report last year. It didn't refer to him suffering from any current cancers. So, and you know what? Don't make a slip about cancer. Because that affects a lot of people.
Sure.
And it is horrific.
And here's the thing. And I get that it is uber embarrassing if indeed he doesn't have cancer. But if you're the White House, and again, maybe we've missed it somewhere, aren't you sprinting to the nearest podium to say the president misspoke?
He was talking about his previous skin cancer. That's what he was referring to.
So whatever it is, and again, unlike the left, I don't wish ill health on anyone. As someone who has had a family member with cancer, it's a horrific, awful thing to deal with. Thankfully, my family member was able to live through it, but it altered their life.
You're lucky.
The rest of their life. And you obviously know this even better than I do.
Yeah.
It's not something you play around with. They owe it to every American to offer a clarification based on the health of the president.
Right.
But also, if you're lying about whether you have cancer, then that's pretty insulting to everyone as well.
So there was an estimated 1.8 million new cancer cases diagnosed last year.
Okay, so somebody in the YouTube chat is saying that the White House has said that he was referring to his previous cancer. Then he should not be allowed to run this country anymore. If you are so out of it, and he does this every damn day, Casey, every damn day there's some gaffe with this guy that it's not the occasional slip like Bush, forgetting the fool me once, whatever, ha ha ha, dummy. It's every day. The guy's a goof. He's an embarrassment. He's a dirtball. His kid's a dirtball. We're going to get into that. And now he's so incapable that he can't even use the correct tense on whether he has or doesn't have cancer.
Right. There's a big difference between have and had. A big difference. And he should know the difference.
I'm just sick of every day with this guy. It's something. It's something with this guy where every single day he embarrasses us and he embarrasses our country. And the fact that no one will stop him tells you everything you need to know about the liberals and the Democrat Party.
And he was so casual about it, too. blaming it on an oil slick on his windshield, blaming it on the state of Delaware.
It is what it is. And the media will not hold him accountable for any of it.
I'm someone who lost a parent to cancer, and it's upsetting. You can't do that. Be clear.
Yeah.
You're the president of the country. Be clear when you're talking about that. It affects so many people.
Right.
And like I mentioned, it's horrific. No matter how much you dislike Biden, you don't want the guy to have cancer.
Right.
Of any kind.
Right. 100%.
So be clear.
Yeah.
Have had. Big difference.
Okay, Casey, I feel like you need something to make you feel better next segment.
I do. I'm getting all worked up and sweating here.
So go on. You have our full attention.
No, go ahead.
We're
going to talk about Hunter?
Well, we're going to talk about Hunter, but we're also, Kevin is at a life crossroads. And whatever decision he makes next could affect the rest of his life.
Oh, boy.
And
no pressure.
And I have weighed in on what I think he should do. But as we well know, I am the last person who should be giving advice to anyone. I have told Kevin my opinion as his official player coach. Mm-hmm. And so I want you to weigh in, and I think our audience could help decide Kevin's next move when we come back.
Okay. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The WIBC app.
I love it.
One of the most profound inventions of the modern era. Ta-da! Keeping you informed and up to date from the convenience of your phone.
Here's what's trending.
Donnie Burgess, 93.
The conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
Gas prices have been falling. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5.
I'm Sean Herrick.
The WIBC app.
Download the app
so that you know what's going on in the world.
In the App Store or online. Ta-da! At 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The housing market is starting to cool and mortgage interest rates have come down. Now is the perfect time to get into the home of your dreams. If you've been thinking about buying a home, let's talk. We can answer all of your questions and get you pre-approved the day you call in. And with our 10-day closing guarantee, your offer is sure to stand out. Learn more and get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. Home of the 10-day closing guarantee. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain for only $49.99, become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar times are 8 to 10 p.m. on Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers, and 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Registration 30 minutes before seminar.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's just a little crazy.
He's a little crazy. And Casey Daniels.
Oh, man, she's fascinating.
On 93 WIBC.
Good music. music choice, Kevin. He did that on purpose. Who's that lady? That segues us beautifully into this break. It is 20 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hello to all the people watching in the YouTube chat. And if you've got your keyboards ready, we're going to need your help weighing in once we get through this life dilemma that Kevin is facing. So you can comment there. You can watch us on YouTube, Kendall and Casey WIBC. Or you can at Rob M. Kendall or Casey Daniels 317 on Twitter. Let us know what you think there as well. So it came to my attention that we have a listener who appears to be, and this is hard for me because I don't notice people's appearances.
Of course not.
Somewhat well assembled. And you and I began talking about this.
She's very lovely.
And I left it to you because I don't notice people's appearances to decide whether this person was indeed well assembled or not. I think you gave an affirmative that at least from what was visual to you, that there was that it was constructed.
She is an attractive lady.
It was constructed on a firm foundation. So Kevin is single.
He's a single dude, man about town, producer of this highly rated broadcast.
Musician.
Yeah.
And as such, oftentimes I will throw out various local celebrities that I feel Kevin might end up having a happy existence with, who I believe are also single. As Kevin's player coach, if you haven't heard, I am retired from the bar scene these days, but I can still go out and play occasionally, like a Pete Rose at the end of his career. I'm what you call a player coach. I have no interest in participating, but I can, if you need a player, I can get in the game.
Let's be honest, you're living vicariously through Kevin.
Well, tomato. So I will often throw out to Kevin various people that I think he might be happy with and what the sales pitch to that person should be, given that he is part of a very popular radio show on a station that's been nominated for a Marconi, that has incredible ratings. He's a highly trained musician. I'm throwing out all the things that Kevin should be doing. And so Kevin took it upon himself to find said listener somewhere floating on the internet ether, because everything is everywhere in the internet ether. And he has found that person on a social media apparatus. That the problem is, if he were to view that social media apparatus, he is worried they would know he has viewed that social media apparatus.
Right. She would be aware of what he's doing.
And I told him he absolutely 100% has to smash that social media apparatus, because this person is a listener to our show, so she would know that it is Kevin.
Yeah.
And this could be the start of something incredible.
Something beautiful could blossom from this.
Yeah, that's some modern dating.
Yeah, it is. I
right?
mean, there was part of me that said, well, it would be mildly creepy to know someone found you on the internet, but you have participated to the show first, so it's not like you didn't want to be participated with. And Kevin, as a local celebrity, deserves someone who reveres and respects his talents.
She's engaged in the program.
Right. And we don't know. Maybe she is already happily married. You don't know. Maybe she is only listening because she loves Kevin.
Right.
We don't know. And there's only one way to find out.
So your advice to Kevin is to go ahead, get on that social media app, let her know.
All he's got to do is look. We think that if he looks, she will know he has looked. And by the way, women all over central Indiana are now checking their various social media apps. And then we'll see where it goes from there.
Can I just be honest?
Yes.
He found her on LinkedIn. And if you know anything about LinkedIn, you know when someone looks at you. Unless you do it in private mode, which he is not doing. It's not in private mode.
It's like that meme of the guy, it's a cartoon of the guy sweating, and there's two buttons he can push, and it's usually a political thing when people are being hypocritical. And this is where it is for Kevin. He's sweating, he's got the towel, press the social media app, and she knows I'm looking, or be lonely forever.
So somebody just weighed in on the chat room. She quickly ran out of the room.
So my opinion is, You got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly a fan of this program.
Mm-hmm.
You are a local celebrity. You have immense talents. Kevin is a good-looking, incredibly nice guy.
Mm-hmm. With a great future ahead of him.
Absolutely.
He is like the acorn to become the oak.
That's a phenomenal.
So much potential.
analysis.
They say not to get involved with fans, but I think I should maybe do this just because Rob's trying to live vicariously through me.
Yeah. Do it for Rob,
Yeah,
Kevin.
I mean,
we have to make him happy.
he's the boss, so
Right.
I gotta make him
Do
happy.
it for him.
So I'm anxious to read these comments here in the YouTube chat at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, at Casey Daniels 317 on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, this can in no way but great for you. I can see no way this blows up in your face and totally backfires.
So if you have some advice for Kevin, should he or shouldn't he? We would love to know your opinion on this. Yeah?
Coming up next.
Okay. We've got Abdul who's coming up next, and we're going to speak with him about the Senate GOP press conference they had on abortion and tax cuts. We'll get down to some serious business next on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, Central Indiana's premium arms dealer. These guys have over 1,200 firearms in stock, the largest selection of used firearms in the area from pre-Civil War to modern firearms, and they are customer focused. They want to help you and ensure that you're having a great time, getting great service, and you'll come back again and again. That's why they always have the best prices. 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030, or online at premierarms.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Definitely the only real estate agent I'd call to sell my house is Mark Dietl, and here's why. Check out Adam and Karen in Indianapolis. They had a growing family. They need more space. As happens to a lot of people. They needed a bigger place, but they had to sell their old house for top dollar to afford it. Now, Mark Dietl was the right guy for this job. He got him multiple offers in days and sold for $17,000 over asking price.
There's only one agent that we recommend, that we trust here on the Hammer and Nigel show, and it's Mark Dietl. Because Mark Dietl has the guarantee in place. Mark Dietl guarantees multiple offers in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. Think about that. Contact Mark Dietl today. Pick up the phone, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a beach day. And with 35 miles of pristine, sugary white sand, it's easy to see why. So let's grab the beach bag, the beach ball, and the boogie board. Let's pack the suits, the sunscreen, and the sunglasses. Take a dip in the emerald green waters of the Gulf. And then take in a breathtaking sunset at the end of the day. So let's make a beeline to the beach. And let's shine. Plan your next getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know.
They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words: made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
August 11, returning to Carmel for one night only at the Palladium, the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Tickets on sale now at the Center's box office or online at thecenterpresents.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's positive. Sunny and 80 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The president has COVID. That just down the pike from the White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, a day after President Biden spoke on climate change.
Let's clear the way for clean energy and connect these projects to the grid.
He's isolating now. Biden was supposed to be heading to Pennsylvania today to highlight the recently passed Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. A House committee began work Wednesday on a bill that would ban certain types of long rifles and another measure allowing lawsuits against firearms manufacturers. Many Ford workers could be out of work soon. Fox's Jeff Manasso explains why.
Ford Motor Company may be planning to lay off as many as 8,000 workers to invest more in resources into electric vehicle development. Bloomberg reporting the potential move is part of the company's plan to cut $3 billion in operational costs from its gas-powered business operations and to boost profits. Cuts that would reportedly come in phases beginning this summer. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Busted out of class, had to get away from most fools. We learned more from
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Yesterday was a big day at the Indiana State House. All sorts of big announcements, everything from abortion to possible tax cuts of some sort. And the man who was there in the front row, a front row seat to it all, and I believe the man who asked the first question afterwards, joins us now, the one and only Abdul Shabazz. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, my friend. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Okay, so first of all, let me say you have never lived until you have watched one of the most important press conferences in Indiana government and political history and been forced to look at the back of Abdul's head the entire time.
My bald spot's getting bigger, which means I got to start doing something about that.
So thank you for being one of the few people who was live streaming that big press conference yesterday, but you made us all pay the price. All right, so you were there.
Hey, you danced with the one who brought you.
Well, that's right, and it was very good. It was very informative, and it was great to watch it in real time versus seeing reporting on it. So we're talking about Rod Bray, pro tem of the Senate, had the big press conference yesterday on abortion and a very interesting form of proposed tax relief. Let's start with abortion. Were you surprised with what they came up with, which was a ban on abortion with the exception of rape, incest, and health of the mother?
Yes and no.
Oh, very attorney of you. Go on.
Because I was not surprised at the exemptions that they put in, because I've been writing about it in the cheat sheet for a couple of weeks now, that's what they were kind of leaning towards. What did surprise me, though, is that they did not include in the initial version sort of a first trimester exemption, so to speak. Because I want to say in Indiana, you get an abortion with kind of no questions asked up to 20 weeks. I was surprised that they didn't change it maybe like to 12 or 16 weeks.
Okay, so let's start with that, because that is what is going to be interesting. If you are part of the life movement, let's have a reality check here. This bill is not getting any better for you than it is right now. And I think many of the life people, the realistic life people, are okay with where this bill is right now. Even though they may not want the exceptions, I think the realism sets in and says there's no way that is getting through. But it is not where it starts, it's where it ends. And I think they are going to eventually add that window for people to be able to get abortions.
I think so too, because you got to remember, like Senator Bray said during the news conference the other day, this is just a starting point for the discussion. He's got to go through committees, he's got to go through Second Amendment readings, he's got to go through the House, then the governor has to sign it. So this is just step one. What I do think is interesting, you brought this up on State House Happenings, and I forgot about it until you brought it up, that when I asked him, so Senator Bray, what about the 13, 20-week sort of window? He said that's not in there yet.
Yes, and that is what stood out to me immediately when he said that. I said, yet. And this is what will be interesting is Kyle Walker, we talked about this yesterday when you were on with us. Kyle Walker, the Republican senator from Marion County, put out this press release the day before the announcement, and that's what he called for. He called for basically this bill, but with a 12 to 15 week window to get an abortion. And you and I kind of talked about this yesterday. We talked about it at State House Happenings. Let's talk about it again now that we've had the announcement. There's no way that's accidental that he put that out there a day ahead of the announcement.
Right. Because because Kyle's always been sort of a key, an establishment player, so to speak. He always believes in following the rules.
Yeah.
And so anytime you're going to put out a news release before a big announcement, odds are you got it signed off on by the communications director and by the chief of staff.
I asked a very prominent pro-life activist yesterday, who I'll not name because I do not ever want anybody to be punished for being friends or giving me information. I said, scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank this bill? And that person told me it is a 7 right now. I'm paraphrasing here. It is a 7 right now, but I expect it to be a 3.5 by the time we're done. And it is going to be fascinating to see what the pro-life movement does if indeed they do insert the abortion window into the bill, which I think is very likely to happen.
I would not be surprised. Let's put it that way. I think it'll probably end up at a 5.
I asked you this in State House Happenings, and I thought we agreed. And anytime you and I agree,
something's really wrong.
I said, watching your Zapruder-esque grainy video, look, I was not getting an HD version of Rod Bray's face. It was what it was. But he looked incredibly uncomfortable the entire time. Like he could not wait to give it over to Sue Glick, who's kind of spearheading the bill in the Senate. He could not wait once he got it back to get out of there. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere but there yesterday.
I have known Rod Bray for years. I have never seen him that uncomfortable in all the time that I've known him, particularly the guy who gets up on the Senate floor and talks all the time. The guy's a good trial lawyer, so he's got his composure. But I could tell that this issue, this whole thing just wanted to get in, so need to say, and get the hell out.
Why is that? They've campaigned on this for years and years and years. They put it on mailers. It's not like this was some, closet issue that they kept hidden. Why are they so uncomfortable for years and years and years? They told us how proud they were about it.
It is the dog that caught the car.
It's just, I was watching that going, man, this guy, he should be so happy about this right now, and he just looks so miserable.
It is like when my wife agreed to marry me. It's like, oh, crap. We weren't supposed to say that. You're supposed to say no.
Abdul is with us. We're talking about the big press conference yesterday at the State House dealing with abortion. We'll get to the tax side of it in just a moment. The happiest guy in the world right now is the Speaker of the House, Todd Houston, because he ain't got to do nothing until this bill makes it over to him. So Monday, when the maniac protesters are down there, he'll be going, yes, Rod Bray's office is down that way.
Actually, the maniac protesters will be here starting Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I am both.
I've already heard they're starting to close off the circle, putting bags up on all the parking meters. Because here's the thing, I think this potentially, because Indiana is the only state right now that's in session, that means all the national folks can focus all their attention on Indiana.
Yeah.
And it's got the potential to be RFRA 2.0.
Well, it's got the potential. I'm very concerned from a public safety standpoint because, let's say Tuesday, obviously Micah's got his big group that's going to be coming down and several bus loads. And by the way, we mentioned this before, but the power of this radio show, he came on, talked about it. They filled up all their buses within an hour, and now they have to have extra buses. So y'all may hate me, but people listen. But
Thank you, Howard Stern.
I am very worried, though, about safety when all of these people get together in one little melting pot, because this is not applicable tax rates that we're discussing here. This is a very serious hot button issue, and I just am very hopeful and prayerful that everybody gets out okay.
It is not. You're right. It's not. Do we do property tax relief for senior citizens, and what age do we do blah blah blah? No, this is a very highly charged emotional issue. It's probably the most important vote that a lot of these lawmakers will probably ever take. So you got all this pressure, and what I worry about is when you get people all in one place and emotionally charged. I'm glad I got my media credentials.
Yeah. And, I'm tempted to mosey over there a couple days to see it because it is historical.
I wouldn't.
No? I was just saying I'm with you.
I definitely wouldn't do that. Hey, maybe you can hang out in the Attorney General's office where you'll be safe.
Real quick, before we let you go, there was a second component to this, and all the attention is on the abortion. But it is rare. Look, I'm going to give Holcomb a compliment here. It's a backhanded compliment. But I didn't think anybody could come up with a worse idea or a more ridiculous idea on how to provide, air quote, relief to Hoosiers than what Holcomb came up with, which is we'll give everybody $225 when half the state hadn't already got the $125 they were owed. But Rod Bray said, hold my beer, and he came up with an idea that never even dawned on me. What was the big idea for, air quote, tax relief?
It was basically to suspend a bunch of taxes. The utility tax that you pay when your light, utility, cable bills, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so they were going to get, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure we're clear on this. Their proposal is to get rid of the taxes you pay on like your phone, your water and sewer, your electric bill, your gas bill. There's a tax.
Yeah.
You pay taxes on it. They said we're going to get rid of that
until June of next year.
Okay, go ahead.
And then also they suspended the sales tax on gasoline, and the gas tax is basically frozen as to where it is now, and it can't go.
Yeah, it's not going away. That's a big thing. They're saying you will not pay any more taxes on gas than what you pay right now. Okay, let's get to the first side of this real quick, and we'll try to do this in a couple of minutes. The
logic and rationale behind this is that their issue with the automatic taxpayers refund is that you only get if you pay taxes. But if you're on Social Security or disability, don't pay taxes.
Sure.
So how do you get that type of relief? So they figured, hey, if we go for your utilities, because everybody pays utilities, that's a much better way, a much more fair way to provide folks with tax relief.
Okay, but that's my money they're sitting on. And if I don't pay my taxes on time, they're going to go, yeah, just pay it for a year, no problem. What they're proposing is I might get the equivalent of what Holcomb proposed giving me, but it's going to take an entire year for me to get it. I'm just asking, they play by the same rules I play by. Can I now just pay my taxes over the course of a year and from the day it's due? Is that unreasonable for me to say that we should all play by the same rules?
We can get an extension.
Yeah, sure. They're very forgiving on all of those. And that extension doesn't put a big microscope on you. And then this thing.
She's a good lawyer, that's
all. Sure, right. And then this thing with suspending or capping the gas tax. Well, that's a little disingenuous because the price of gas is going down, which means that tax is going to go down because it's a sales tax on gas. So, as I told you at State House Happenings, we might as well just change the name of Rod Bray to old Colonel Parker Bray because he's just like the snowman in the Elvis movie at the circus. Look at what I'm doing for you. You're doing nothing.
It's the showman.
What's coming up this Saturday, Abdul at Large here on WIBC?
We're talking to our Guy Relford about the whole shooting that took place in Greenwood. Guy's also representing the guy who was considered a hero. We talked to our good friend Jim Merritt about what's going on over on the Senate side of things. We talked to Victoria Spartz about her issues with Ukraine and whatever else we can get our hands on.
You can hear him Saturday 1 to 3, Abdul at Large here on 93 WIBC. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show. Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatment you go through, pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
It's time for the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy, and with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crest Point Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts.
Hey Terry, this week I'd like to put things into perspective in regards to real estate. Obviously the headlines have been talking about how real estate is changing due to higher interest rates and it's not as favorable to purchase. 6 months ago when rates were about 3.5% to 3.75%, if you were interested in a $300,000 house, you likely would have had to spend about $330,000 or $340,000 on that home to win it. Today, that $300,000 house, you're likely to spend $300,000 on it. With the increase in interest rates, the mortgage payment on that $300,000 house is ironically very similar to the $300,000 listed house 6 months ago. What we're seeing is that it's a pretty even wash right now, and you have an opportunity.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
Sparkling diamonds, dazzling bracelets, earrings, and rings. Breathtaking rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Welcome to Barrington Jewels. From timeless designs to impeccable craftsmanship, the enduring beauty of Barrington Jewels shines through every creation. At Barrington Jewels, find respect and honest pricing, superior service, and accommodations. For birthdays, anniversaries, and just because. Find your treasure at Barrington Jewels, East 82nd in Indianapolis, and barringtonjewels.com.
What does Hancock Health's membership in the Mayo Clinic Care Network mean for you? It means our independent health network now has access to the knowledge and resources of the world leader in medicine. It means your Hancock Health doctor can now consult with Mayo Clinic specialists to confirm a diagnosis or treatment plan. And it means that together, we're making health possible for you. Learn more about our new clinical collaboration at hancockregional.org/Mayo Clinic.
Quick Shred now protects your identity not only by shredding, but by erasing and recycling electronics in their expanded full-service location at 62nd in Binford. 1 out of every 3 people will lose their identity this year. Protect your identity with Quick Shred. Recycle old computers, monitors, cell phones, printers, and flat-screen TVs. Quick Shred works hard to protect your identity. Visit QuickShredIndy.com. Quick Shred's open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and Saturdays 9 to 2. Quick Shred.
Hello, this is Governor Holcomb. I wanted to talk to you about where my plan stands to send you back $1 billion. Even while Indiana's economy is thriving, Hoosier families are struggling to deal with this national inflation. It's hitting hard at the pump and at the register. The best way to help is to send you back some of your own hard-earned money by August. Republican legislators have filed bills to get this done. Please thank them for sending your $1 billion back now, not later. Authorized and paid for by Imagine Indiana.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Check out our website to see where the next Home and Garden Show on the road will be. We're live every Saturday starting at 9 a.m. You don't want to miss it. Be sure to tune in to Pat, Denny, and the gang on 93 WIBC. And follow WIBC on your favorite social media channels to stay up to date on breaking news, traffic updates, and weather. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
He's outrageous and infectious, but not contagious. I'm talking about Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
I see you spitting some lyrics there.
Yeah?
I like it. Now, I turned on the radio as I was driving into work today.
Yes.
Did I miss a segment where you're trying to get Kevin some tail?
Yeah, so we had a listener who Casey and I, after some back and forth, I think, and Casey had to lead on this because Hammer, I don't notice people's appearances.
Correct.
But Casey came to the conclusion that this listener who was putting herself towards the show, we didn't seek the listener out, is probably well assembled. And as such, Kevin is an eligible bachelor. I have often proposed numerous local female celebrities that I think Kevin might be very happy with.
Sure.
And so I said, Kevin has an obligation because this person is a fan of the show. While Casey and I are out of the equation, Kevin should explore all resources available because this could be the future potential Mrs. Kevin, but we have to learn about this person.
This needs to be a reality show, and you guys need to stream it or put it on the website.
We talked about
a dream date with Kevin.
That's it exactly. We said we need to do this.
Yeah, we're thinking about doing a Bachelor type deal.
Right, which is fantastic because I've always said that The Bachelor really should just be called the Skank Olympics, where you've got all these chicks and only one of them will survive. So let's line them up. Let's get all the ladies lined up and let's get Kevin plowing.
Do you remember the old MTV show Singled Out?
Yes.
There we go.
Jenny
Jenny
McCarthy.
Yeah.
And then Carmen Electra.
Right.
Was
Boy, you talk about a back-to-back. That's
wow.
a combo.
Oh, yeah. You replaced one with the other. 13-year-old Rob Kendall was...
that was the Favre into Aaron Rodgers transition.
Having a good old time.
That was a silly question on my part. If you guys remembered that show.
I'd be up in my room for hours at a time. I can remember my dad. What are you doing in there?
Nothing! Watching Singled Out again.
Washing my hair.
So here was the conundrum Kevin had, though. He found this listener on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Kevin, she hot?
She was well assembled, as Rob likes to say.
All right, good.
And so the problem is, if Kevin looks at her profile, she would see that he had looked at the profile.
Okay, now somebody did say that you can get a free premium trial on LinkedIn, and that will allow you to view it in private mode.
You know what? You know what, Kevin? Listen to me. Nobody has done more nefarious things than I have in this room. So own it. Don't try to be, in private mode. They want you to see that you looked at her profile. Have the confidence. Be the alpha man. Go in there and swing that thing around with the confidence and go after it.
I mean, everyone already knows that I stalked her on the internet. So
Right.
Might as well just do it.
I would avoid the phrase stalking moving forward. That's probably frowned upon. Just say, I was curious and looked you up. That's a lot better than I stalked you online.
Yeah, it's a little more tactful.
Hey, can I mention the fact that what a weird world we live in, where in some fashion Eric Holcomb is now paying my salary?
In what way?
Well, we're running ads for this Holcomb tax reform, and he is on the ads, and the group that is running it is an ardent supporter of his, and they're doing this because this is what he wants. And so in a weird way, it would be like if Lex Luthor somehow gave some sort of weird thing to make Superman
started funding his 401k.
Stronger.
This would serve Rob well.
That's right. Yes.
This serves Rob well. That serves the station well.
After so many years of not being served well by the governor, I am now finally being served well. And so I just heard that, and I thought, that's what a world we live in which Eric Holcomb, thanks to the governor. We really appreciate that. It's very nice of you.
The rest of the citizens of the great state of Indiana getting screwed, but you're doing okay.
Well, look,
right?
Casey, minds can be changed. Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe he's not such a bad guy.
Let the record clearly state we will accept advertising from anyone.
Oh, yes.
If Boss Hogset wants to come on and advertise, hell, I've offered a seat on our show to him before.
It is, we get that all the time, especially during political season. Why are you running ads for so-and-so? We take money from everyone.
We're a business.
We are the ratings juggernaut in central Indiana, and people want to be a part of the station, and we greatly appreciate the governor and that organization running ads with us.
If our policy was we're not going to air ads from people we don't like, we wouldn't have any political ads at all.
We need them. Hey, we need to address this because it was just announced moments ago. President Biden has tested positive for COVID.
Cancer or COVID?
Exactly. Is there a misspelling there? No, they say
it starts with the C. I don't know.
It's good enough. They say he's experiencing mild symptoms.
How do we know if Biden's experiencing mild symptoms or not? So if I'm understanding this correctly, when you have when you got the Rona, you're tired, you cough a lot, sometimes you
have brain fog.
You got brain fog. Well, hell, that's every single day for Joe Biden. How do we know he's got it?
And what are the odds? So Nigel and I were talking about this before the segment. What are the odds that the day after you inadvertently or maybe advertently claim you have in the current cancer, you test positive for COVID? Like, what are the odds of all of those things happening?
He's having a bad 24 hours. They say he's going to isolate in the White House.
Well, he does that anyway. Again, he's going to have brain fog.
White
He's going to
House.
cough. He's not going to make sense. So it's business as usual.
So it comes back to, and now if it were Trump, this is how it would be treated. So we're going to treat it the same way. The guy disappeared for 2 days. We played the press secretary and the assistant press secretary fumbling all over where the guy was. Then he goes to this event, and then he tests positive for COVID. Am I the only one questioning this going, something weird is really going on here?
This is where we're at in our country. The president of the United States The man who has the nuke codes says he has cancer, and everybody was just like, he just has dementia. And we're okay with that.
Right. And that's what we were talking about.
That's acceptable.
That's what we were saying is, how is this not the lead story? We let our 10 o'clock hour off with it.
Mm-hmm.
This should be the lead story. Either the president has cancer, which is terrible, or he's so far gone in his mind that he must think he has cancer.
And the cancer came from oil hitting his windshield in Delaware.
This is what wasn't he raised in Pennsylvania?
He was a Scranton tough guy, but then he also claims Delaware. And keep in mind, this is kind of like the forgotten part of that whole speech yesterday. Yes, him claiming he's got cancer gets the headline, but this was a speech on climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the convoy of SUVs that brought the Biden administration into the climate change speech?
I was thinking the same thing.
And when he's not doing that, he's going to his home on the beach, Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. Now, if you're a climate alarmist, like this guy claims that he is, aren't you scared to be underwater?
What's coming up this afternoon?
We are going to go off the rails with you, Mr. Kendall, and we've got tickets for the Zach Brown Band to give away.
Oh, fun.
There's rumors of Sing Along with Hammer.
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Take me out.
Nobody's more proud of what Diamonds Direct offers than our own staff.
Our standards are the highest I've ever seen in the business, and I've been in this industry my entire life.
Not only do we have the most competitive pricing in the industry, but the whole package that you get with it is incomparable.
One thing that always surprises clients is how much further their budget will go with Diamonds Direct.
But way beyond value, what we're most proud of is our total commitment to each and every customer.
We go above and beyond for our customers so that they feel valued and they know that they're valued. We are really focusing on not making a sale that day. We want to make a friend forever.
It doesn't matter what size diamond that you're looking for. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to make you feel fabulous.
The philosophy to take care of the customer is just amazing.
When clients come in, I think what they can feel is our passion.
The electricity that you get in here, everybody's happy. It's such a friendly environment.
Diamonds Direct.
And you can feel that energy and that happiness every time you step into our showroom.
Come see and feel the difference. Your love, our passion. Get directions and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Nobody I'd rather use than Mark Deedle to sell my house. Randy in Indianapolis feels the same way. He had a rental property, was ready to sell to cash out in the hot market. And selling fast was good, but more importantly, he was looking to sell for top dollar. And Mark Deedle delivered both. Dude, Randy got 20 offers and sold for $15,000 over his already asking price in a few weeks. Mark Deedle is the best guy to get you the best price in Indy.
Call the only agent that we recommend and trust here on the Hammer and Nigel show, Mark Deedle. Mark Deedle gives you the guarantee. He guarantees multiple offers in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. Call Mark Deedle right now, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232, or go to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdeedle.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
How much money have you lost in the stock market? You know, there's a way you could stop the bleeding and potentially make up for some of those devastating losses. It's Terry Stacy. Learn how you could get a competitive return on your money right now and receive a 5, 10, or as much as a 35% initial bonus on your investment. That's right. And you'll sleep well knowing your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, my retirement guy, at 317-349-5212. Get a competitive return on your investment that beats the bank and receive a 5, 10, or as much as a 35% bonus on your investment. To learn more, call Bill Demery at 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the two big topics of the special session and the motive. What was it in the Greenwood Park Mall shooting? That and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
This is a Fox News alert. President Biden has COVID. I'm Dave Anthony. So he's not taking that trip planned this morning to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania to push for funding for communities to fight crime. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has the update live.
Dave, a statement from the White House confirms that President Joe Biden is experiencing, quote, very mild symptoms of COVID-19. He tested positive this morning, according to Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, and has started taking Paxlovid, an antiviral medication for COVID. The statement also says President Biden will isolate at the White House and continue to carry out his duties, participating in planned meetings via phone and Zoom from the residence. The president is fully vaccinated and twice boosted. He'll return to in-person work when he tests negative. A spokesman says the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, has tested negative for COVID and will keep her full schedule, Dave.
Tony, you know who else has COVID? Benny Thompson, the Democrat leading the House committee investigating last year's Capitol riot, so he will not be there tonight for the next prime time hearing.
A deep dive into what former President Trump was doing during 187 minutes of that riot, between the time that he left his rally to the time that he released that video telling protesters to go home. Now, today's witnesses are former White House aides Matthew Pottinger and Sarah Matthews. Now, Pottinger was a deputy national security advisor, and Matthews was a deputy press secretary who was part of the White House press shop there. Now, both of these people quit on January 6th after witnessing what happened.
Fox's Aisha Hasni at the Capitol. Steve Bannon calls the hearings a show trial and one-sided, but the ex-Trump White House advisor is charged with contempt of Congress for not cooperating. The defense takes over today. There's more unemployment.
The number of new claims rose 7,000 to 251,000. The number is stronger than forecast. Economists were predicting a decline, and it's the highest reading since last November.
That's Ginny Casolo. America's listening to Fox.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Abortion and money. It's sunny and 82 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. An abortion ban bill is on the agenda for next week's special session of the Indiana General Assembly. It's an outright ban with exceptions for rape, incest, or danger to the mother. But your finances are also being considered. Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray says they do have some relief planned.
Our members think it's important that we not allow any further increases in taxes at the pump for the remainder of this fiscal year through June 30th of 2023.
And they plan on making law a 6-month ban on sales tax on your utilities like water, gas, and lights. Looking for motive. Police aren't sure yet why Jonathan Sapirin shot and killed 3 people intent on hurting more in the food court of the Greenwood Park Mall. Investigators are hoping a social media post can help. They've gotten a hold of screenshots of a 4chan post they believe that came from Sapirin. It's a photo of a Nazi wedding with the caption, "My name is Jonathan, and it seems like a good day to die." A person hit and killed by a semi this morning on I-65 near 865 this morning.
What has been told to us up to this point is semi was going southbound, and then all of a sudden that pedestrian entered into the roadway in front of that semi and was struck and killed.
Boone County Sheriff's Deputy Wesley Garst can't say yet why the person was walking on the interstate. It had traffic shut down there for a couple of hours. They aren't sure yet what caused a fire that killed 4 children in April. Harrison Silcox.
A mobile home in Fort Wayne caught fire the morning of April 21st. Fort Wayne firefighters had the fire under control in 23 minutes, but 4 kids were found dead inside from smoke inhalation. The mobile home was completely destroyed. There was so much damage that Indiana State fire marshals say they couldn't find enough evidence to prove what caused the fire. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the Indiana Pacers appear to be back in trade talks with the Los Angeles Lakers. According to ESPN, Indiana and Los Angeles have re-engaged on a deal possibly involving guard Buddy Hield. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hello, Indianapolis. Looking to save money on your wireless bill? You can when you choose Consumer Cellular. Sign up today and you'll get the exact same coverage as the leading carriers for half the cost. This gives you direct access to the widest, most established cellular networks available. Consumer Cellular offers flexible monthly plans with no contract and simple, affordable service that's perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Featuring a wide variety of top-of-the-line phones from Samsung, Motorola, and Apple, you'll find a phone that's perfect for you. Everything is backed by a 100% risk-free guarantee, plus 100% U.S.-based award-winning customer support. Switch your talk, text, and data today and save up to $250 a year. Right-size your plan and downsize your bill with Consumer Cellular. Visit consumercellular.com/Indianapolis to start seeing the savings today.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, July 21st, and things that are trending this hour. Historic heat waves. They are setting new all-time record highs across Europe. Also trending, Batman comic book legend writer Alan Grant has died at the age of 73. And finally trending, Jeopardy host Ken Jennings. He has shocked fans with a, quote, painful, crude joke.
Oh.
It's 6 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
I hope those people never watch Andrew Dice Clay or Eddie Murphy specials, because, boy, they'll be in for a very rude and crude awakening.
Yeah. Let's recap what happened yesterday.
Yes.
It was the Indiana Senate Republicans proposing a bill that would ban nearly all abortions except for in cases of rape, incest, and the life of the mother.
Yes. So Rod Bray, now better known as Colonel Parker Bray, because, we'll explain that here in a second. He is on par with some of the great circus snowmen who have lived throughout generations, conning and, attempting to sell bull crap to the masses. Came out and announced a bill, and I will say this part of the press conference was pretty good. The bill they put forward on abortion, which would ban abortion with the exceptions of rape, incest, health of the mother. Now I'm giving a very broad description of a more detailed bill, is a good bill. The problem is no one in the life movement thinks that the Republican Party, either the Indiana Senate or certainly once it goes from the Senate to the House, is going to hold to that. And here's how I would equate this, okay? Casey, when you go buy a car, or anything of value that is the price is negotiable, you don't walk in and put your highest offer on the table. You put a low offer on knowing it's going to be rejected. They counteroffer. You walk away. You counteroffer. Maybe you walk away again. Maybe you disappear. You have a number in your head of what you're willing to accept. Your goal is to get it below that. But at the end of the day, if you get that number in the middle, you're fine. No person in any negotiation ever who has any idea what they're doing starts at their end point.
You know what? That's a really good point, because for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about how we couldn't get anybody on record to say where exactly they stand. And when you are negotiating something, typically the first one to speak loses.
Right. So we said red flag galore yesterday when the Kyle Walker, who is a Republican senator from Marion County, put out that press release saying, I would accept abortion between 12 and 15 weeks, better known as the first trimester. And I said, get ready, Bal. If you're in the life movement, you're in for a problem. And so when Rod Bray was asked by Abdul, Colonel Parker Bray was asked by Abdul after the press conference, this language that Kyle Walker wanted is not in the bill. What's going to happen? He said it's not in the bill yet.
Right, because the bill could be amended over the course of the special session, which starts Monday.
Absolutely. I talked to a very knowledgeable person in the life movement this morning, and they said they were told directly by a state senator that the Republicans do not have 26 votes to pass this right now in the Senate. That's in the Senate, much less if it goes to the House. And I was told by another very reliable source, it started in the Senate because they could get the most pro-life possible out of the Senate compared to the House. So and Casey, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a total biased homer for myself. Did I or did I not?
Yeah, you said that.
Did I not tell you this would be what they would present? And then did I or did I not tell you what would happen from here?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a pro-life person, and there were many pro-life people who were happy with the press conference yesterday, the bill presented, and they should have been. It's a reasonable, mainstream, conservative pro-life position. If you're happy with that, it is the equivalent of walking into a car dealership and making the offer you will accept as your first offer. They are not going to negotiate a more pro-life position. They're not going to remove the exemption for rape or incest. They're not going to do that. The only way it can possibly move is more on the side of sucking the brains out of defenseless fetuses, which is what Kyle Walker and Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer and the establishment wing of the Indiana Republican Party, who the conservatives in the General Assembly always acquiesce to because they are petrified of ending up like Curtis Hill, or in some cases, they just agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where it's going to go. And the question will become, and look, maybe I would love nothing more than for Rob Kendall to be proven wrong and the Indiana General Assembly to hold firm, and they pass a bill that bans abortion with the exception of rape, incest, health, and mother. I'd love nothing more than to come in here 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, whenever it ends, and eat it and say, I was wrong. I'm telling you, though, the life people know it's coming. Mike Fichter and the Right to Life put out a press release blasting. Nikki Kelly reported they know what's coming. I talked to a very high-profile person in the pro-life movement. I said, rank the bill. They said a 7 today. Probably will end up a 3.5. And so the question becomes, if you are a person who has for 30 years put your blood, sweat, and tears into this promise from the Indiana Republican Party, while you're knocking on doors, putting signs in yards, giving to candidates, that if we get the opportunity, we will ban abortion, and they don't do it. Is this where you walk away? Because if you don't walk away after this, if indeed they don't follow through, they will own you forever. And this is why they behave the way they do. And I'm looking in the camera now on YouTube so that people know I'm being very serious. This is why they keep behaving the way they do. Why did they never take on the governor on executive powers? Why did they never rein in Holcomb? Because they believe no matter what, you will never leave.
Blood, sweat, and tears. How about money?
Oh,
for people like Right to Life who have been endorsing candidates financially, and now they're turning their backs on it.
Well, because they do not believe that no matter what the Republican Party does, that the conservative movement will walk away. And this is what it's. I hate being right. And this is what I've been talking about on this radio station. I've been here almost 6 years now that I've been telling people, and they are starting to see it more and more and more and more and more every day. The Republican Party in this state loathes conservatives. I was around them. I worked with them. I went to the events. I was in the meetings with these people. For some reason, they let me in. And I heard how they actually think about you. And it is playing. How many times does it have to play out before you realize? Now, again, if they hold firm, and they pass this bill, I'll come on here and eat it and say, great job, wonderful, a big round of applause. It ain't going to happen. Now, let's talk about the other aspect of this press conference. When old Colonel Parker Bray got up there and tried to sell the level of ridiculous this guy was selling in terms of what they're going to do with the overtaxation is a level that even Holcomb probably looked at and was like, whoa, good luck with all that.
They plan on suspending the 7% sales tax on utilities. And they also want to cap the sales tax on gasoline, which typically fluctuates every month.
Right. So we now call Rod Bray, the pro tem of the Senate, Colonel Parker Bray, because in the beginning of the Elvis biopic, they go into some detail on Colonel Parker's, who's Elvis's manager, time in the circus. And he talks about the thing about the circus, the carnival, was the snowmen who could snow you into believing that the ridiculous, the impossible, the awful was actually something very great. And that is what Rod Bray did yesterday. He is now Colonel Parker Bray forever going forward. Think about they're sitting on $6.1 billion of overtaxation, which comes out to roughly $1,500 per taxpayer. It's probably more than that now. He said of the $1,500 of your money that they're sitting on, you're going to get zero of it back.
I thought we were getting $225
That's his
back.
proposal. Now, there's a House proposal. That's the Holcomb proposal. This is something different. But all I have to do, is to go off the snowman, Colonel Parker Bray. And Colonel Parker Bray said yesterday, you're getting zero of your money back. And what you're going to get is a suspension on utility tax, which, if you're lucky, over the course of a year, might add up to what Holcomb promised to give you. And we all know you wouldn't get that until October or November based on how slow that they are giving the initial refunds back. And what they did pledge to do, though, what Colonel Parker Bray did pledge to do was ensure that all government projects they funded in the 2021 budget are fully funded because, well, inflation got them.
Inflation, right.
And heaven forbid that we ever make government go on pause, our legalized vote buying scheme come to a brief halt at a red light. So he has pledged $250 million of your money in overtaxation.
They can't pay for some of their stuff.
Right.
Because of inflation, but you're supposed to be able to do that.
I was sitting in bed working on the template when Colonel Parker Bray had his press conference. And he did the abortion thing first. And I sat there and I said, wow, this is pretty good. And there was a brief moment where I had a soft spot in my heart for the Republican Party. And then he launched in to this convoluted, corrupt, horrific, whatever you want to call it, to make sure government gets fully funded, you get as little as possible. And I quickly remembered why I hate almost all of these people, because the Republican Party always puts government, growth of government, and their legalized vote-buying schemes first.
He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. And this morning there was some big news coming out of the White House regarding Joe Biden. No, it's not cancer. It's a different diagnosis. And also, Hunter is in the news, of course. And we'll get to both of those coming up from 93 WIBC.
The hottest news.
Currently hot. Happening right now.
Summer heat.
Scorching hot inflation.
Gas prices are so high.
No end in sight. Border security.
The gun violence.
Massive red wave.
Violent crime in our cities.
Extreme heat.
Stay cool. Stay informed at the top and bottom of the hour.
Timely information.
What you want.
Topics are hot ones.
And what you need.
It's going to be pretty hot out there today.
Beat the summer heat with 93 WIBC.
Real people are getting real and lasting pain relief at QC Kinetics.
Who would have thought that I would be in better shape now than after I got out of the Marines at 22? It's great to be active again.
I've played 36 holes multiple days in a row without pain. Everything's great.
Are you tired of living with chronic joint pain? QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged tissue, natural healing agents from your own body, so your body can heal itself the way it was designed, with no pain pills, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Thanks to QC Kinetics, quality of life is just a lot better.
Definitely changed my life.
Call now to see if regenerative medicine could be the answer you've been looking for. The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics have proven protocols that can give you lasting relief now, and the consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
This guy's really hardcore, highly fanatical.
And Casey Daniels.
I love her. I trust her.
On 93 WIBC.
Well, it's not cancer he's been diagnosed with. This morning, the White House press secretary said that President Biden is experiencing mild symptoms as he has tested positive for COVID. He's going to isolate in the White House and will continue to carry out all of his duties fully during this time. He still plans on participating in meetings at the White House, and he will do them via phone and Zoom in the residence.
Okay, so unlike the left, we do not wish ill on anyone. So let's first of all say we hope the president has a very safe, speedy recovery and gets better quick. Okay, that's out of the way. Now, let's apply the same coverage to Biden's COVID that they did with Trump, in which he was accused of everything under the sun, including knowingly going to a presidential debate and spreading COVID. Okay, so we know for a fact, because we played the audio on the show, the last 2 days, being whatever that would have been, Monday or Tuesday, because we played it on Wednesday. Monday or Tuesday, neither the assistant press secretary nor the press secretary could account for where the president was. We played the audio, right? Neither one of them could.
Yeah, they were asked, where's he been? Oh, he's been very busy.
Yeah, they would not tell you where the president was. Then he goes to an event yesterday in which the public is there. Now, it's an outdoor event, but the public is still there. He's around other people. Claims he has, as in the present term, cancer.
He said have cancer.
Yes.
Not had, have.
I have cancer and other people have cancer. Blames it on oil in Delaware when he was a kid, yet he grew up in Pennsylvania. And then we're to believe that he gets COVID, then just finds out he gets COVID the next day. So I'm just using the Trump standard here. Where is the thorough investigation on this? Because, Casey, I'm sorry, that does not add up, that the president just disappears for 2 days and then is being weird even by his own standards, and then magically, oh, he's got COVID. That's either a giganto coincidence or there's something going on here.
He's had a roller coaster of 48 hours, don't you think? I mean, that's quite the spectrum.
Who doesn't
just say you have cancer and then COVID?
Who does not know where the president is or what they're doing? Here's the president's itinerary. The governors do this. You know, you don't know where they're at every second of every day, but even Holcomb puts out a public schedule. He's going to this ribbon cutting, or he's raising taxes over here, or he's stealing from the people over there. You know, whatever he's doing, you know where the person is at. It doesn't make any sense that they could not tell you where the president has been or what he's been doing.
He has been fully vaccinated. He was given 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. He's had a booster shot as well. And an additional dose just March 30th.
No, time out. I'm going to repeat what I heard you say because I must have misheard something. So he was fully vaccinated.
He got 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine.
He was boosted probably twice now.
Once in September and once in March.
That cannot be possible that he was vaccinated and boosted twice, because I was told that if you get the vaccine, you don't get COVID. And I was told that I was a horrific person for not getting the vaccine because I was going to spread COVID and kill people, including my grandmother, who's not alive anymore. I guess people didn't know that, but and everything in between. So how is Joe Biden, who, if it is the vaccine that stops the COVID, getting COVID if he indeed had the vaccine and the boost? I must have missed something here.
No, you got it. You got it right on.
Well, if that's the case, then some really liberal people owe me some very sincere apologies, because it appears they were mistaken about the COVID vaccine and the COVID.
Here's a piece of advice for you, Rob.
Yes.
Don't hold your breath.
Oh, okay.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's switch gears to the other Biden, and that is Hunter. And the probe into his dealings has reached a, quote, critical stage. Officials are weighing the possibility of filing charges for tax violations, foreign lobbying, and false statements.
Okay, so how many times have we heard this before, like with Hillary Clinton et al., the Durham investigation? They're going to get him. It's only a matter of time. Prosecution is inevitable. The end is near. And then Like they get one person, and that person walks scot-free, and nothing ever happens to anyone. So do we really believe, despite irrefutable evidence of what a corrupt, awful, terrible human being Hunter Biden is, that the Biden Justice Department will allow anything to happen to Hunter Biden?
Don't you find it's interesting still, though, that Joe Biden still is denying it? I mean, Hunter has been under federal investigation since 2018.
Yeah.
And the president is still denying that he knew anything about it.
Well, and
sure, we believe that.
Well, I mean, and as we talked about the other day, there are the 30 meetings that Hunter Biden had while his dad was vice president with his dad, many of them coming right after overseas business dealings. And then wasn't it the president of the company that was with Hunter Biden during several of those meetings? Like what do you think they were talking about? Fly fishing? Like what, if you're any rational person, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, what do you think if the guy comes back from an overseas business meeting, meets with his dad, and the president of the company is at the meeting? Do you know how many times, the absurdity of this, okay, do you know how many times, so the president of the company, the equivalent would be Jeff Smulyan here. Do you know how many times Jeff Smulyan has come to my dad's house when I've been over visiting with my dad? Zero. Because that's not normal unless there is you know why Jeff Smulyan would come to a meeting at my dad's house? If there was a gigantic pile of cash.
Right. Waiting for him.
At the end of that rainbow.
We need you to come pick this up. Okay, I'll be right there.
Give me a break.
So, what? You're not believing it? You're not falling for the gaslighting? Okay.
Can we play this Rogan clip when we come back?
Yeah, let's do that. Joe Rogan said that the U.S. is an
authoritarian.
Thank you.
But I mainly
State.
Want to play it because many people know that I believe that Edward Snowden and Julian Assange, in many ways, are heroes. And the fact that they are vilified and forced to live horrific lives, or in the case of Edward Snowden, live in exile, is wholly ridiculous. And Rogan, who, you know my opinions on Rogan, but I thought he had a pretty good take on this.
Yeah, and Snowden was just recently talking about TikTok, and we'll get into all of that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Credit card debt in the U.S. has hit an all-time high of $930 billion. And while most folks are struggling to get through the month wondering which bills to pay, the greedy credit card companies are making record profits. Your home is probably worth more than ever before, and that equity is just sitting there. There's never been a better time to look at a cash-out refinance. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Your favorite summertime tradition returns at your Indiana State Fair. Join us for a celebration of all things Indiana, including our automotive excellence in partnership with Tom Wood Automotive Group. 18 magical days, 4 fun-filled weekends of food, rides, animals, and more. Save big on advanced discount tickets till July 28th at IndianaStateFair.com. Join us for fun at the speed of summer, July 29th through August 21st.
Interest rate hikes are slowing home price growth, but you can still get top dollar for your home right now with Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. With Mark Dietel, there are no costly repairs. Pick your move date. Stay in your home after the sale stress-free while you close your dream home. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Listen to what Tim in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietel. After my mother passed, we needed to sell her home. I hired Mark Dietel, and I am so glad I did. Mark listed the home, marketed it heavily, and had it sold in days at $16,000 over list price. Mark is a pro who made the whole process easy. Call the agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real STIHL. Find yours at stihlusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real STIHL. Find yours at stihlusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
August 11, returning to Carmel for one night only at the Palladium, the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Tickets on sale now at the Center's box office or online at thecenterpresents.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Biden isolates. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. The president has COVID. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
A statement from the White House confirms that President Joe Biden is experiencing very mild symptoms of COVID-19. He tested positive this morning, according to Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, and has started taking Paxlovid, an antiviral medication for COVID. The statement also says President Biden will isolate at the White House and continue to carry out his duties, participating in planned meetings via phone and Zoom from the residence. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The Kremlin saying Russian President Vladimir Putin is in good health, denying rumors that he isn't well. At his daily briefing today, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov blamed the rumors on what he described as disinformation from Ukrainian, American, and British leaders. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So he said the U.S. is an authoritarian state. That coming from Joe Rogan. It's 11:31 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So he was going off on this riff about Snowden and his thoughts on that. And Snowden, of course, wanted in the U.S. on espionage charges after he leaked information. He was collecting, he said that the government was collecting telephone, internet, and email records, right?
Edward Snowden is, in many ways, one of the great heroes in American history. And as Nathan Hale famously said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but my only regret is I have but one life to give for my country. And I think that every day when I come in here. You know, all the grief I get, I think my only regret is I have but one life to give for all the grief I get for all the things that we expose and talk about. In seriousness, Edward Snowden exposed wholly corrupt, awful, deceitful, oftentimes illegal behavior by the American government. Without discussion, without debate, the American government was weaponizing information and technology and access to it against its citizens. Edward Snowden exposed that. The wholly horrific and awful behavior of the U.S. government, and yet the government never gets punished. And poor Edward Snowden has to live essentially in exile the remainder of his days in Russia because he exposed illegal behavior. The illegal behavior doesn't get punished. It's the guy who exposed it who got punished. And in many ways, Julian Assange is the same way.
Right.
And so Rogan, who, you know my opinion on Rogan, I don't think he's the smartest guy that ever lived, but I thought this was a pretty good take, along with, I think, Tom Segura, the comedian, was in with him on this. Take a listen.
Edward Snowden exposes the United States, exposes this like deep underlying surveillance system that is essentially monitoring everybody and violating all of our constitutional rights. And he gets kicked out of the country and he goes to Russia. And Russia takes him in.
Celebrates him, of course.
He's happy over there. Fine in Russia.
You know, and that's of course deliberate on their part to be like, we took your
but still wild. Because he went from one, the way they treated him, the way they treat him, the way they treat Julian Assange, you could absolutely make the argument that this is an authoritarian state.
It absolutely is. I mean, look at the way the Department of Justice, the FBI, was weaponized under Donald Trump. Look at how many times Trump claimed something happened and it ended up happening. Illegal monitoring, spying. Obviously, this whole Steele dossier was completely made up. what goes on from nameless, faceless bureaucrats in this country and the weaponization of the government against law-abiding, peaceful, tax-paying people. Your government hates you. And I think that's hard for people to realize, because people say this all the time, well, how can you be so patriotic, say you love this country so much and hate the government? You don't have to love the government to love the country. I love what America throughout its history, the individuals in the government, in our society have stood for, not the government. I love what we as a collective in World War II, the people who were willing to raise their hand and go fight and die for the betterment of all society. You can despise your government and love the country and love the ideals and love the creation of this country and love what it is supposed to represent and the words in the Constitution, the words in the Declaration of Independence, the words in the Bill of Rights. Our government on the regular does not live up to those words, but they're there and they have meaning. And gosh darn it, Casey, from the inception of this country, so many people have been willing to give everything for those words because they have meaning, even if the government doesn't care about them at all.
One thing that I love most about this country is that you can sit here on this broadcast and say how disappointed you are in your government. Can't do that everywhere.
And by the way, if I ever go missing, and I'll let you know.
I'll look for you.
Well,
or should I just wait a little longer?
You aren't going to find me. I have a list of prime suspects, numbered 1 through 10, and it will be one of those 10 people if I ever go missing. So I'll leave that in a safe, secure place with you. Several other people have that as well.
Okay. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and we're glad you're here listening this morning. Thank you for doing that. Pete Buttigieg says that he's astonished that some folks seem to struggle to let go of their gas-powered vehicle.
There are many fetishes in this world.
He's astonished.
And a lot of performers make a lot of money off the various fetishes. And Casey, I have no problem with various fetishes until they start affecting my life and my pocketbook. And this green fetish from the radical, it's not even the radical left, it's now the mainstream left, is really starting to affect my pocketbook and my existence. Let's play a little audio of old Mayor Pete and his green fetish.
I'm still astonished that some folks, and I felt this, I was testifying in Congress yesterday, some folks seem to really struggle to let go of the status quo.
I struggle to let go of the status quo because the status quo makes it so that I can get to work each day in an affordable fashion. I do not have $55,000 lying around for an electric car. The cost of the electric car once you have it is large, in many cases more costly than the gas itself.
Well, the range is too short. Charging takes too long. Buying new cars is expensive. Oh, and guess what? Those electric grids are still powered by fossil fuels that you have to plug that car into.
I've told this story before, but I don't know if I've told it since we've been on the air together. In 2012, Ron Paul was running for president. And I was so proud to vote for Ron Paul when he ran for president, because Ron Paul really is one of the people that inspired me to pay closer attention to politics. I was always a voter, but never was really paying attention. Inspired me to pay attention and then get involved.
Right.
And he said something that at the time I thought, well, that's crazy. And the more society moves, the more right he was. And they were talking about the border, and they were talking about building a wall. And this was obviously before Trump. He said at the time, you have to be very careful about what you do in terms of building a wall, because while you can keep people out, you can also keep people in. And what he was talking about is the idea of the free flow of movement and the importance in terms of liberty and freedom and your ability to live your best life by the free flow of movement, when you want to move, how you want to move, wherever you want to move. And these electric cars, based on the fact of how far they'll go, where you got to stop, how long it takes, how the cost of them, the cost to maintain them.
Oh, wait a second. You just touched on something. The cost to maintain them. I was curious, what happens when the batteries in these electric cars
probably
phase out?
Very reasonable to replace, right? I mean, you need a car part. You get the car part. Some are a little more expensive than others, but usually pretty reasonable.
Motorcycle battery, you could spend $100, $80 to $100.
Doable.
Right. Doable. I mean, you don't want to, but you got to. Your car battery.
Yes.
$200-$300, right? You don't want to, but you can do that one.
How much for one of these electric?
$20,000.
Oh, wow, that's a lot more than $100, $200. That's
just a little bit.
So the point on this is, do not underestimate, because the left isn't, as we talked about, or Rogan say, authoritarianism, and it's a big part of the Republican Party now too. A big part of being able to dominate people's existence is to control the free flow of movement, and an electric car really controls the free flow of movement.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Dana Carvey, comedian Dana Carvey, says that the commander-in-chief has morphed from a soothing grandpa into a feistier leader in office. It does change every single day, though. He might have said that last week. This week, Biden not quite as feisty.
Yes, Dana Carvey, famous comedian, did President Bush, Old Man Bush, did Ross Perot on Saturday Night Live. He is now doing Biden, and he does a pretty good Biden. Take a listen.
But Biden came out as a really sleepy, sweet grandpa, and he was like, he's always repeating this story. I went to Scranton. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. My dad lost his job. No joke. I'm not kidding around here. No human being in the world thinks that's a joke. Nobody. Is anybody lost his job? And then, my dad didn't even do the number thing. Number one, the one part. Number two, what the guy said. Number three, you know the drill. Come on. No, we don't. Now what he does is he kind of whispers and then he yells. If you know, I think it's a wonderful move. Don't you love it when he's like, we know how to get natural gas. Because we can get it. We know how to get it. That's what we do. We take the people that run the public, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
He got that, right?
It's pretty good, yeah.
His impression, it's almost like he could just do the church lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have that be the right impression.
Bring back the church lady.
Dana Carvey's 67 years old, by the way.
Wow, I was with Dad and I were talking about this yesterday. We were wondering how old he was. He looks pretty good.
He's been doing a lot of impressions of presidents over the years.
We have something special when we come back. Longtime friend of the radio station. She's been on my show. She's been on Hammer and Nigel. Lindsay Marie is going to be with us. She's out of the politics and government game, and now she's doing comedy, and she has joined one of the most legendary comedy troupes in the entire country. It has produced tons and tons of megastars, and she's going to be with us to talk about doing comedy.
From politics to comedy. Seems like a good transition. Yeah, it's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
Identity theft continues to be the fastest growing criminal act well into its second decade. 1 out of every 3 people will lose their identity this year. Protect your identity with Quick Shred. Documents are shredded in full view at their retail location at 62nd and Binford. No matter how big or small, they shred it all. Commercial bin placement is also available. And now Quick Shred recycles electronics too. Visit QuickShredIndy.com. Quick Shred is open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and Saturdays 9 to 2. Quick Shred.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Sparkling diamonds, dazzling bracelets, earrings, and rings. Breathtaking rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Welcome to Barrington Jewels. From timeless designs to impeccable craftsmanship, the enduring beauty of Barrington Jewels shines through every creation. At Barrington Jewels, find respect and honest pricing, superior service, and accommodations. For birthdays, anniversaries, and just because. Find your treasure at Barrington Jewels, East 82nd in Indianapolis, and barringtonjewels.com.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news, a better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Head to WIBC.com and take our Get to Know the 2022 Indiana State Fair quiz, and you'll be entered to win a family 4-pack of tickets. Head to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Glenn Miller Orchestra at the Palladium in Carmel. Remember to follow WIBC on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to stay up to date on news, weather, and traffic.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Rock and roll sky. Rock and roll sky. That's what they call
Oh, we love it when friends of the show hit it big, and our next guest is trying to do just that. Not in the world of politics anymore, but in the world of comedy. 93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. She was a regular on the Rob Kendall Show, as well as the Hammer and Nigel Show, talking about phenomenal pieces she had written on government and public policy, but not anymore. She traded all that in and is now making it in the world of comedy, and she is with one of the most famous and successful comedy institutions in American history. I'm talking about our friend Lindsay Marie. She is now a part of the legendary Second City in Chicago. She's got a big comedy event coming up we're going to talk about. But first, Lindsay, I'm always fascinated when people follow their dreams. And you decided one day, you said, look, I want to do this comedy thing. I've had this other life. I'm putting it all to the side, and I'm going. Tell us about it.
I actually don't have the easiest answer for that. I, for some reason, had always wanted to take an improv class and do stand-up, and I couldn't figure out why. And then the first improv class I took, I instantly fell in love with it and became insanely addicted. And then just started going down the comedy rabbit hole of, okay, improv, sketch, screenplay writing, stand-up, character acting, and it is still continuing.
So when I think of improv, I think of like Michael Scott on The Office going to his nighttime improv class, and it doesn't lead anywhere. You have turned this into a like quasi career, if not lifestyle. How did you make that move that fast from something I enjoy doing to I'm a part of Second City, which is one of the greatest comedy troupes in the entire country?
It took a lot of time. I was a lot of hours in classes at multiple schools. So I started taking classes at Second City. I did their regular improv program. I did the Upright Citizens Brigade, their long form program. Then I auditioned to get into Second City's famous conservatory, which I didn't think I would get in because there's always rumors about how many times most people it takes to get in. I think rumor-wise, Tina Fey, I've heard between 3 and 7, so who actually knows? But I got lucky, I got in. And then once I was done with that, I came back to audition to write a review show with other graduates of the conservatory. So right now we are in premiere for our show, which is very, very exciting.
Yes. So tell us about this show, because I want to get into the history of Second City, which is so cool you're there. But tell us about this show that you're putting on Monday night that our entire audience can be a part of.
Yeah, so Monday night we are doing a virtual show, which is very cool because a lot of people never got to actually get to Chicago to see me based on the pandemic and just life. So it's me and about 8 or 9 other people from across the world. One of our improvisers actually lives in the UK. So it's this kind of ensemble that would have never, ever happened if it wasn't for the virtual world we have. It is about an hour and 5 minutes. It is all original sketches written by us. We have 2 original songs that we completely wrote ourselves that we record the lyrics and did music videos too. So it's kind of a mix of all kinds of things. You'll see some roast humor in there. You'll see some social commentary. You'll see some characters that are over the top and hilarious. It's a good mix.
Where do people view the event at? Because you can view it via the magic of the internet.
Correct. So if you go to, the easiest way will be if you just go to lindsaymauriecomedy.com, I will have up where you can register with Second City to see it. They email you a Zoom link, and then on Monday at probably around 9:25 Eastern time, they'll open the house, and that's whenever they'll let you in. And we'll start normally around 9:30, but I always say 9:25 because a couple of times we have gone early.
So this is wild. And again, do you want to spell the website again? Because I want to talk about this because this is so wild. This is how you can view comedy now.
Yeah, so the easiest way is Lindsay Marie, LindsayMarie, comedy, comedy.com. And I will put on that homepage the link in the show poster so that it's super easy to access because there are a million other shows also going on right now, Second City.
So this is so wild. It's like literally going to the theater and the way you would view a comedy troupe, a comedy sketch, but you're able to do it from the magic of your own home. It's like comedy is just like everything else now. Technology kind of rules the day.
It is. And it is a much different experience than doing it in person. One of the downsides is that we can't hear laughter. So as a performer, especially if you do stand-up, because there are stand-ups doing virtual shows, to be performing and absolutely hear nothing for an hour is very difficult. So we rely a lot on the chat feature. So people will type in like, ha, 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 or I love that line.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so that kind of gets us in the mood a little bit and going and more amped up. But the other cool part is, like I said, this ensemble of people could have never come together at any point in our lives. And we all come from different backgrounds, different places, and different sense of humor too.
A friend of the show, Lindsay Marie, with us. And no, we're not talking politics. We're talking about the show she's putting on as part of the legendary Second City comedy troupe. Am I saying it right? Is it comedy troupe? Am I just an using old person lingo now, or is that what you call it?
So for this, we would say it's a sketch group. But when we talk about improv, a lot of times people say improv troupe. I normally say improv ensemble or improv group, but they all kind of mean the same thing.
Okay, perfect. That's close enough. So she's got a big event. It's not politics. It's comedy. She's part of Second City. I want to talk about that here in just a second. You can find it, the virtual event, which you can watch. Is it free of charge?
It is free of charge, which also... It's great because if you saw it in Chicago, you'd have to pay for it. So this is also cool. Yeah.
Okay. So LindsayMarieComedy.com is the website. So let's talk about Second City. Obviously, some of the most famous comedians in the history of this country, people who you've seen on places like Saturday Night Live for years and years and years, have come out of Second City. And I'm curious, what is it about Second City? What have you found about Second City that has produced all of these legendary comedians?
I mean, first of all, there's just something magical about that building. When you walk in it, you just feel like the legends that have been there before you. And it's the training program. Second City is known for being a theater, but it's really almost like a university for comedy in a way, right? So there's different programs. You take so many hours each term, and they really fine tune the improv process. And at Second City, they don't teach improv just for improv's sake. They believe in using improv to write sketch comedy. So you spend a year to 2 years learning improv, and then you take that and you start learning how to use that to create the sketches. And then you learn how to act, because then you have to, once you've got your scripts and your sketches, act them out. So it's a full circle approach, versus other schools tend to just focus on either like character development or maybe just long form improv.
I'm curious, how hard is it to do comedy today? Because everybody is hypersensitive about everything. Everyone's trying to cancel everybody all the time. How much does that factor into what you guys are doing? Because it's hard to be funny if you can't offend anybody.
It's a tricky situation, especially with improv, because if you're doing improv and you're doing it right, you are not self-censoring. You're saying exactly what comes to mind in that moment. So it's a lot more of a risk than if you're doing stand-up or sketch where it's already pre-planned. And with stand-ups, we see a lot of stand-ups getting in hot water for certain things they're saying. A lot of times people don't know where that line is until they actually deliver that joke to an audience. The quickest way to find out if something is going to work is to actually deliver it, which is a good and bad thing, right? Like, you know, when you're bombing, there is no way around it. But I think from a comedic perspective, if I have a thought in my head, ooh, I wonder if this is going to be too far. If you have that inkling, there's probably a reason why. And I'm not saying you shouldn't try it out, but if your brain does start to question it, there might be something there.
We were talking comedy with friend of the show, Lindsay Marie. She's got a big performance coming up Monday night as part of Second City in Chicago, the legendary comedy. What would you call it? I know we said troupe, but what is Second City? Is there a word that describes that? Because to me, it's so much more that it's a venue, but it's also classes. It's also groups. What do we call Second City?
Oh, gosh. Because that is the thing. They have the theaters. They have the training centers. They also have a touring company. So there are multiple facets to it. It is sort of just a comedic behemoth, right?
Right.
And they are historically have been the breeding ground for the next best and brightest people in comedy and writing.
You can learn more about the big Monday Night Comedy Show at lindsaymarie.comedy.com. That is going to do it for us today. Thanks to Kevin doing his usual great job on the board. Great job, as always, by Casey on the co-host. Hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Stick around. Tony Katz coming up next. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pine Grove Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pine Grove Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 317-552-1111. That's 317-552-1111. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pine Grove Medical Clinic now. 317-552-1111.
At Tire Discounters, we do everything, but not everything.
Thanks for calling Tire Discounters.
Yeah, so do you guys do brakes?
Absolutely.
Shocks and struts?
Yes.
Balloon animals for my kid's party?
Ooh,
All right, oil changes.
Bingo.
Astrophysics?
Can you hold, sir? Hey, Brainiac! Yeah. Do you know astrophysics?
Yep.
Okay, sir, that's a yes.
How about coolant fluid exchanges?
Of course.
I'm still bummed about those balloon animals, though.
Plus, brakes, shocks and struts, alignment, and more.
Hello, this is Governor Holcomb. I wanted to talk to you about where my plan stands to send you back $1 billion. Even while Indiana's economy is thriving, Hoosier families are struggling to deal with this national inflation. It's hitting hard at the pump and at the register. The best way to help is to send you back some of your own hard-earned money by August. Republican legislators have filed bills to get this done. Please thank them for sending your $1 billion back now, not later. Authorized and paid for by Imagine Indiana.
Furniture Installers of Indiana can handle your office furniture needs no matter how large or how small. They've been doing it for over 30 years. Bring professional furniture solutions to your home or commercial office space. Learn more at FurnitureInstallers.us.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, the White House simply saying that the president has very mild symptoms right now.
My name is Jonathan, and today seems like a good day to die.
Entered into the roadway in front of that semi and was struck and killed.
Government projects will create more demand for steel.
We need business leaders to educate elected officials.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
The president has tested positive.
Going to be another hot one today. Sunny and 85 in downtown Indy. You've got highs in the 90s this afternoon. Clear and warm tonight. Low of 75. I'm John Herrick.
And I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. President Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. The White House said Thursday morning the president is expecting mild symptoms. The president was set to go up to Pennsylvania, Scranton area later today to talk about how he's going to combat crime. He was going to be spending the weekend at his home in Wilmington, Delaware. Now it says the White House that he's going to be isolating here. The White House simply saying that the president has very mild symptoms right now. They also point to his vaccination status as well as his boosting status. They want to make it clear that they believe those people that have the vaccines that they are going to be okay. That's Fox's Mark Meredith. Biden is fully vaccinated and twice boosted.
Detectives have found some online posts made by the Greenwood Park Mall shooter. Kurt Darling reports police hope this leads to a clear motive.
Jonathan Sapirman is the man who opened fire on shoppers at the Greenwood Park Mall Sunday evening. Investigators have gotten a hold of screenshots of a possible post on the website 4chan by Sapirman that reads, "My name is Jonathan, and today seems like a good day to die." It's captioned underneath a picture of a Nazi officer getting married. With the 3 people killed in the shooting being Latino, some are wondering if this is a hate crime. The FBI is looking into that and is also looking into a laptop and a cell phone that belonged to Sapirman. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A person killed in a crash in Boone County this morning. It happened around 5:30 on southbound I-65 near the I-865 interchange by Whitestown.
What has been told to us up to this point is semi was going southbound, and then all of a sudden that pedestrian entered into the roadway in front of that semi and was struck and killed.
Deputy Wesley Garst with the Boone County Sheriff's Office says there's still plenty they don't know, like why that person was in the road. The driver of the semi has been cooperating with police.
The future of steel is the future of jobs in Indiana, especially the Northwest Corner, which is one of the largest steel-producing areas in the United States. Chris Davis reports on how labor sees the future going.
Government projects will create more demand for steel, says Thomas Conway, president of the United Steelworkers and longtime Northwest Indiana steelworker.
The passage of the bipartisan infrastructure law will add 40 to 50 million tons of steel demand over the course of the next 5 years.
He tells the Steel Caucus in D.C. that it's not just that new law, but steel will be in demand from clean technology. The biggest threats are from foreign governments dumping steel into the markets, he says, causing the value to go down. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
They say abortion affects more than just women. That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Indiana Republicans put out their position on abortion. Is it what will be signed into law? That's coming after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Banning abortion could hurt business in the Hoosier State, says the ACLU of Indiana. They led the way in getting 250 businesses to write letters supporting reproductive health care in Indiana.
We need business leaders to educate elected officials on the business and talent impact of access to reproductive health. And that's why we've gathered these 250 plus business letters.
Katie Blair with the ACLU of Indiana. Businesses from 30 cities have signed on, including Patachou Incorporated, Silver in the City, Well Done, MS Communications, and Zesco. Abortion would be banned, except in the cases of incest, rape, or if the mother's life would be in danger, in a bill to be debated in next week's special session of the Indiana General Assembly.
This bill does not affect access to the morning after pill, also known as Plan B, or any other method of birth control.
State Senator Sue Glick, a Republican, says the bill also does not criminalize women who seek an abortion, nor would it add any penalties for doctors who perform illegal abortions other than the likelihood of losing their license.
The government has borrowed too much money, says Indiana Senator Mike Braun.
Money should only be borrowed if you're going to invest it or get a tangible return on it,
which he says the government has not been doing. Braun wants to start paying off the country's debt by pushing a bill requiring the federal government to have a balanced budget. That proposal was voted down 34-65.
4 children died in a fire in April, and Fort Wayne fire marshals still don't know what caused it. 93 WIBC's Harrison Silcox.
A mobile home in Fort Wayne caught fire the morning of April 21st. Fort Wayne firefighters were quickly on the scene and had the fire under control in 23 minutes, but 4 kids, ages 10, 5, 3, and 2, were found dead inside from smoke inhalation. 4 adults made it out alive. The mobile home was completely destroyed. There was so much damage that Indiana State fire marshals say they couldn't find enough evidence to prove what caused the fire. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you've been to a movie theater recently, you've probably heard this theme in more than one film. And now you'll hear that theme throughout Indianapolis Colts training camp as well. The Colts and Marvel have teamed up this season to bring the Marvel universe to Indianapolis. The first 5,000 fans to show up at Colts training camp next Thursday will get a limited edition Colts Marvel poster. Marvel artists will also be there drawing Colts players and Blue as superheroes.
Taking a look at the radar, it is clear. It's 85 degrees and sunny in downtown Indianapolis. I'm John Herrick.
And I'm Donnie Burgess. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Joe Biden has COVID. Tony Katz Today. It's good to be with you. You can get COVID whether you're vaccinated or not. You can get COVID and be wearing a mask or not. COVID is here to stay. It's here for forever. Anybody who says otherwise is, of course, not telling the truth. And those people who think that as long as you have to be vaccinated, and if you're not vaccinated, you're going to get everybody killed, we're lying from the very, very beginning. I mean, just flat out lying. It doesn't matter if you vaccinated. It doesn't change how somebody else can get COVID. It doesn't change anything. Guys, it's so good to be with you. 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669. That is the number. Of course, this is the top story on news stations all across the country right now. And the takes are ones of, well, how do we continue introducing fear into this conversation, to how is this Republicans' fault? Because you know that's coming. Hey, it's not Republicans' problem that Joe Biden went to Israel and went to Saudi Arabia and fist bumped with Mohammed bin Salman. Maybe it was the fist bump that actually did it. Who knows? Yamiche Alcindor over there at MSNBC. Oh, she's got a take.
There's so many things that this White House has been having to deal with and juggle. And now you have the leader of the United States, President Biden, testing positive for COVID. It is absolutely a wrench in the plans here. I will say that I've been talking to White House officials for months about this. They have been planning at the White House for the moment, the day when this happened. They do believe that he will have, they believe, at least when I talk to them, mild symptoms because they believe he's had his booster shot. He's been vaccinated. He's someone who really has tried to take this pandemic very, very seriously. He was elected on the idea that he was going to be the one who brought in the experienced team, who was going to be the president who could figure out this pandemic. And he has been the person who has made sure that vaccinations have gone out throughout the country, that Americans have continued to talk about the pandemic. But I think, Yasmin, it's also a reminder, right, that we are living in a pandemic. There are so many things that often become the things that are the top priorities, whether it's inflation or whether it's foreign policy in Ukraine or whether it's the January 6 hearings that are going to be historic tonight. All of those things are happening. But at the backdrop of that is this pandemic that.
Man, that's good spin on the quick. That is professional level spin from Yamiche Alcindor, from a journalist. The January 6th committee hearings tonight are going to be historic. Did you even know there were January 6th committee hearings tonight? I forgot it. I'm not covering. I've got an event I've got to be at. I'm not covering it. I mean, I guess I'm supposed to. I guess I could set up and do it, but that wasn't part of the plan. Historic how? That a group of members of Congress, a group of Congress people can waste our time and waste our money with a witch hunt against a guy they hate and no one actually gives a damn about? Good Lord. This throws a wrench into the works for Biden's plan. Man, just one more thing. Aren't they busy enough? He ran to be president of the United States during a pandemic. Did he not think it would come to his doorstep? One more reason why you got to give Joe Biden a pass. Nah, you don't have to give Joe Biden a pass on absolutely positively anything. The only thing worse than this is, of course, him having cancer, which he doesn't have. But he made it sound like he does have. So he's there in Massachusetts yesterday, and he's talking about climate and how there's a climate emergency. Don't you know? He actually wants to say, I should not have to wait for Congress to act on the climate as I see fit, from my ideological point of view. I should be able to act unilaterally right now.
When it comes to fighting for climate change, I will not take no for an answer. I will do everything in my power to clean our air and water, protect our people's health, to win the clean energy future. This, again, sounds like hyperbole. Our children and grandchildren are counting on us. Not a joke. Not a joke. If we don't keep it below 1.5 degrees centigrade, we lose it all. We don't get to turn it around. And the world is counting on us. And it's this.
The world is counting us? You mean like China and India that do absolutely nothing about their pollution? We've brought down CO2 emissions tremendously. The world's counting on us to do what? Further sacrifice ourselves? To your ideology? You've been telling us that the world is coming to an end for 40 years, if not more. Maybe we're exhausted by it. But Congress isn't doing what you want because you, after all your years in professional life, in public service, you have not been able to build a coalition of one, never mind reach across the aisle, so you think you should take it on your own.
Climate change is literally an existential threat to our nation and to the world. So my message today is this. Since Congress is not acting as it should, and these guys here are, but we're not getting many Republican votes, this is an emergency, and I will look at it that way. I said last week, and I'll say it again loud and clear. As president, I'll use my executive powers to combat the climate crisis in the absence of congressional action, notwithstanding their incredible action.
So is it the absence of action or their incredible action? I can't keep up with this man. He's decided there's an emergency. He's going to do something about it. Producer Ari asked me a question. He's like, isn't declaring an emergency the same thing that Biden did, that Trump did with the border wall? Immigration is the purview of the president of the United States. And the president can do what the president chooses. Which is exactly, why when Donald Trump wants to, via executive order, rescind DACA, he should be able to. And any judge who says otherwise is truly engaged in a bit of partisanship. Which is why if President Biden wants to get rid of Remain in Mexico, he can. Because immigration is the purview of the president. Climate? Climate's an ideological fantasy. I don't think you should burn tires in the middle of the road. But the very idea that I'm not getting what I want from Congress, so I have to act independently. Article 1, Section 1 of the United States Constitution states, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. All legislative powers. That is not, if Congress won't act, I'll go it alone. If Congress won't act, you're SOL, baby. Nobody wants to hear your problem. This is the system. You can't get anybody to listen to you?
They bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash.
I don't care if the Biden administration crashes and burns on this subject. Well, they may want to not burn so much because, global warming. If you can't figure out how to work with Congress, if you can't figure out how to move a message, how to bring people together, well, then you don't get anything done. That's the system. That's the system. And that system is good. I'm a huge fan of that system. I'm a fan of keeping Joe Biden or any of these other progressives from their ideological fantasies. But in talking about this, he talked about growing up as a kid in Delaware and the oil fields and the refineries, and then he came out with this doozy.
And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Did Joe Biden, president of the United States, who now has COVID, just say yesterday that he has cancer? Well, the answer is yes, he did. But man, was the White House having to work overtime to clean this one up. They say that he was discussing cancer he had as a kid because he spent a lot of time in the sun, and he had skin cancer, non-melanomas, skin cancer that he had removed, and he had a series of patches removed before he got inaugurated.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, by the way, but listen to it again. That isn't what he said.
The oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
He made it sound like he has cancer. As Ellen Carmichael pointed out, who runs the Lafayette Group, he is a fabulist. I don't know if you know the word or not. Words have meaning, and I'm going to get into how this plays into a story about Merriam-Webster in a little bit. It's like lately I've been using the word elucidate to make clear or plain, to explain or clarify something. A fabulist, a composer of fables, a teller of tales, or a liar. Biden does this a lot. Whether he's talking about, he talks about the story about Amtrak that he keeps making up. He talks about, the concept of corn pop. And I was battling corn pop, don't you know? And he tried to sock me in my puss, so I had to give him the old 23 skidoo. And, oh yeah, Biden's old enough for 23 skidoo. You could check my mouth on that. He tells stories. And he enlarges stories. He creates fictions. He's a fabulist. He did it again here. He makes up the story in the moment to make himself seem bigger, smarter, more important. The tail has more power and more grit. Why tell the truth when you can just engage in a little bit of, padding? This is what kept him from being president in years past, like when he was engaged in plagiarism, stealing the words of Neil Kinnock. That's a true point, producer Ari, multiple times. He hasn't stopped. He hasn't changed. He was a bad guy then, and he's a bad guy now. And for the amount that he can do that whole grandfatherly thing and has put his arms around you, probably give you a sniff, he's a bad dude. He's a liar and a fraud in everything he does. So no, he doesn't have cancer. He just made you think he has cancer. That's what he did. Hard to deny it. But he does have COVID. And, they can tell me that he's got mild symptoms. And I'll say that's exactly what the White House should say. The White House should stick to the line that the President of the United States has mild symptoms. You don't need to let the world know if he's really ill. And I don't want him to be ill. Let me say before anything else gets said, I hope he gets better. I don't want this for anybody. I don't want this for him. The fact that he's a terrible president, the fact that he's incapable and he's incompetent, it's all very real. I don't want the man to have COVID. And I'll get into this a little bit more. I question his ability to deal with it well. I do. I truly do question his ability to deal with it. If only because on an anecdotal level, the people I know who've been sick lately, whether it's COVID or whether it's the flu, whether it's cold, whatever the case may be, man, it's hit him hard. And Biden's a frail dude. Just fact. Not debate, all fact. But if you want to talk about how I want the White House to put it out to the world, mild. He'll be just fine. He's still working. He's the scrappy guy from Scranton. So that's the right maneuver. Personally, I'm not sure how he is. But as long as we know that nothing's going to stop COVID, vaccinated or boosted, you can still get COVID. Masked or unmasked, you can still get COVID. So keep the masks off our kids. Don't force masks on anybody. Don't shut anything down. It's a thing we deal with for the rest of our days. Let's wash our hands, a little bit of antibacterial, and get back to work. I'm Tony Katz.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
And now we have a crash southbound 69 and 96th Street. Traffic absolutely soul-crushing.
When you need to get from here...
Crashes on the east side, south side,
to there.
North side, crashes everywhere. An absolute car apocalypse today in the Circle City.
Matt Bear.
Delays, and when I say delays, I mean stop traffic continues to build.
Mornings and afternoons.
So you're going to want to change your reroute. In fact, I'll tell you right
93
now.
WIBC.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new furnace or AC unit is a big decision. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. We offer our PHP guarantee, which means if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
How much money have you lost in the stock market? You know, there's a way you could stop the bleeding and potentially make up for some of those devastating losses. It's Terry Stacy. Learn how you could get a competitive return on your money right now and receive a 5, 10, or as much as a 35% initial bonus on your investment. That's right. And you'll sleep well knowing your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, my retirement guy, at 317-349-5212. Get a competitive return on your investment that beats the bank and receive a 5, 10, or as much as a 35% bonus on your investment. To learn more, call Bill Demery at 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The amount of money our clients receive with a simple cash-out refinance is life-changing. Imagine paying off all your credit cards, completing home improvement projects, and taking the family on a much-needed vacation while still having money in the bank. And with our 10-day closing guarantee, that could all be a reality quicker than you think. Your home is probably worth more than ever before. Learn more and get pre-approved at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Radiant raspberry, golden orange, ice blue. You'll find all the colors of summer in our selection of beautiful, natural sapphires. Every color imaginable. At Shane Company, we're gemstone experts and our passion shows. Tom Shane selects our sapphires and rubies individually, by hand, in Bangkok, the gemstone capital of the world. He brings back the most spectacular sapphires, bold and vibrant colors, as well as soft pastels like peach and lavender. We also have yellow citrine, green quartz, London blue topaz, a rainbow of colors, and one-of-a-kind stones sourced by Tom. At Shane Company, we're known for our beautiful gemstones. Come into the store and try on our jewelry, or use our fun virtual try-on tool on your phone. Whether it's sparkling earrings for the poolside, a gemstone pendant for a concert in the park, or a vibrant center stone for your engagement ring, our colorful gemstones will brighten your day.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
In times of fear, World Vision is there for the most vulnerable. For the last 70 years, we've been standing with kids and families through natural disasters, war, and disease, delivering life-saving aid and helping rebuild lives. And with every act of courage, faith, and love, we do more than just stop the spread of fear. We replace it with hope. Learn more at worldvision.org.
I'm a veteran. We hit a mine in Vietnam.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory's been never giving up hope.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I finally admitted, with my PTSD, I wasn't doing well.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
Now I wish I'd found DAV sooner. My victory is just enjoying each day.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Waking up in the morning and to be well.
I brought up briefly the January 6th committee hearing that is tonight. May I say for the record, you know this doesn't move people. It doesn't move anyone. Tony Katz today, it moves the people who already hate Trump. People are very focused on many, many other things that are more important to them. Trump is not their whole life. 187 minutes. That's what they're going to be focusing on. Those 187 minutes when Trump refused to call off a violent mob attacking a police and ransacking the Capitol and hunting down lawmakers and Vice President Pence. You've heard me say before, I don't like the way Trump handled it. Trump should have stopped this riot immediately. I've said those words. I said the words then, and I'll say it now. What is going to be provided by Liz Cheney and Jamie Raskin in a primetime hearing other than nothing? More, hey, we really hate Trump, and here's why you should hate Trump too? Inflation is 9.1%. Producer price index is 11.3%. Mortgage rates are creeping up to 6%. And the story out today is that jobless claims are going up, signaling that the labor market may be cooling. We know that retail has slowed down its hiring. We know that tech has slowed down its hiring. You want us to look at you having some kind of real weird sexual obsession with Donald Trump? It's not sexual? Then what the bloody hell is it? Don't tell America that you aren't having yourself one big moment by saying, look what Trump did here and look what Trump did there. You can't vote for him. You can't do this. You end your day with a cigarette and leaving money on the desk drawer or the drawer of the bureau before you walk out of the room. That's what it looks like. You look like ridiculously obsessed people. I'll do this. Maybe now he'll date me. Oh, my God. It's the Ocasio-Cortez theory. People aren't interested in this. People are not interested in this. And to say to me or to anybody else, as NBC is doing, that the hearings are historic, nah, nobody buys into that. Does this play into the election? Well, I don't know if it does. I'm more of the opinion that it doesn't. Just like the overturning of Roe v. Wade isn't going to play into the election. But what does? How does the Republican Party win this year? How do they ensure a long victory for the future? And how do they bring America along? Kurt Schlichter explains it next. Keep it here.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
They say abortion affects more than just women. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 12:30. Banning abortion could hurt business in the Hoosier State, says the ACLU of Indiana. They led the way in getting 250 businesses to write letters supporting reproductive health care in Indiana.
We need business leaders to educate elected officials on the business and talent impact of access to reproductive health.
Katie Blair with the ACLU of Indiana. The future of steel is being considered by Congress. That also means the future of jobs in Northwest Indiana.
We also need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to have a bipartisan Competes Act pass, making sure that the semiconductors and the chips are being made in the United States that allows for the auto industry, the appliance industry, the defense industry to be able to be productive.
Democratic Congressman Frank Mervan, who chaired a meeting of the Steel Caucus. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
When a parent struggles with addiction or dies from a drug overdose, what happens to their children? Far too many end up in foster care, unable to ever return to their birth homes because it's simply not safe. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is fighting the clock so that teens don't age out of foster care, leaving them at a higher risk of addiction and other negative outcomes that can happen to a child without the love and stability of a permanent family. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
In the early hours after the tsunami, it was ham radio that was on the air, saving lives. When Florida was ripped by hurricanes, the hams were there. In the critical moments after the attack of 9/11, it was the hams who coordinated emergency messages. When disasters strike, the hams are ready. Ham radio works when other communications don't. To learn how you can become a ham radio operator, call the ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, at 1-800-326-3942.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Discover Masterpiece Quilts at the International Quilters Hall of Fame celebration in Marion, Indiana, July 21st through 23rd. This amazing celebration features world-class exhibits, great workshops, and lectures, and the induction of the 2022 honoree. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana. Classic cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Lose your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
It's important to recognize when you've lost a battle. It's important to know what it is in that battle that you lost and how to better prepare for a battle next time. It's important to learn from mistakes, not to make the same mistakes over and over again. Tony Katz today. It is good to be with you. Kurt Schlichter joins us right now. He is the author of he's the author of many books. The latest is We'll Be Back, The Fall and Rise of America, which for me engages a great part of this conversation. It dovetails into his latest over at townhall.com. The next Republican president must fix the military first. One thing at a time. Kurt Schlichter, retired United States Army full colonel. He is the author of the Kelly Turnbull series of books, which you can get on Amazon.com, a series of books that you can find in good bookstores everywhere. Now the question comes, the fall and rise of America will be back. Let's start with, I think, the most basic question. What makes you so sure?
Well, Tony, first of all, thanks for having me. We're winning. And if you look at what happened in Virginia, we had a blue state go red. And not weak red. Youngkin is not soft. He's not Mitt Romney, 150 pounds of Miracle Whip stuffed in a $5,000 suit. We've had people, materializing at school boards to fight back against CRT. We've had our Latinx friends go 50% Republican. 50%. That is unbelievable, especially in light of the fact that the Democrats thought that they had a permanent new constituency that would always obediently vote for them. Well, that didn't happen. But most of all, Tony, the reason I'm optimistic is because I can't see losing to this gaggle of weirdos, losers, and mutations. I can't see losing to the woke crowd, the CRT people, the ones who don't know what bathroom to use. I'm just unwilling to let them win, and I can't imagine that it could ever happen.
Now, I, of course, agree with you. There is a tremendous amount of winning, but maybe more than we call it winning. There is this recognition that what it is that the political left is putting forward does not connect with where the American people are at. So when I talk about the idea of learning from mistakes, is it about letting the left do what they do and letting the right point and go, see, we told you? Or are there tangible things that the right should have learned from 2020 or learned from 2018 or 2016 or learned from outside of political battles and actually in cultural battles that there are lessons learned that they need to take with them? And what are those lessons?
Well, absolutely. It's the lessons learned that are important. Look, you never interrupt your enemy while he's making a mistake, but it is a loser's game to count on your enemy to fail. All right? And that's one of my beefs with the Republicans. They're looking at the next election going, oh, boy, the Democrats are really screwing up. Yeah, and that's good, and you have to leverage that, and you have to be flexible enough to take advantage of it. But optimally, you want people voting for you. And right now, the Republican Party is currently constituted, has not earned that. Now, we have learned. If you look, for example, at this dumb gun bill they had a couple weeks ago with John Cornyn and 14 of his friends, 15 Republicans joined in, and that was pretty infuriating. But it would have been 35 10 years ago. We're winning slowly. We're learning. We're banishing the cruise ship conservatives. We're banishing the weak hearts. We understand the need to fight, and normal people are starting to wake up to the fact that they are hated and they are under attack by the liberal establishment.
Talking to Kurt Schlichter. You can find his latest book, We'll Be Back, The Fall and Rise of America, at Amazon.com or wherever fine books are sold. What is being back to you? Right, you and I have had many a conversation, many a cigar, many a beer. We performed on stage together in this idea of fighting, and certainly we have a little bit different takes here and there in our presentation style and how we go about things. But end result, we want to be in very much the same place. So, what does being back look like to you, and how does that get sold to an America that might not be with you as a Republican or a conservative, but they sure as hell didn't want this Biden insanity progressive thing? That's not what they want. How do you describe it?
Well, look, we understand what a proper future looks like. We understand how to get there. We talk about crime. Well, Rudy Giuliani taught us how you fix crime. You put criminals in jail. And what it looks like crime-wise is New York in the late 90s and 2000s, where you could walk down the street. You and I recall we enjoyed a beer out on the street in New York. I'm not sure we could do that today, but we know what it looks like when it's right, and we know how to get there. Economically, we saw what Reagan did in a couple of years. We saw what Trump did in a couple of years. We know what right looks like, and we want to get back to that. But what's currently happening is the Democrats, who are going so far left, are missing the paradigm. They have jumped out their own Overton window, and normal people are starting to feel like towards the Democrats, like they felt towards Jimmy Carter. And remember, it was 12 years before Democrats got another chance to be in the White House, and even then, it was Bill Clinton who, on things like crime and the economy, really embraced some, if not exactly, some of the basic principles of Republicans. So that's the kind of paradigm shift where normal people say, "Look, we're not going to be insecure either economically or in terms of criminal justice. We're going to demand that," and the Democrats are going to have to respond, or they're going to go into exile, and they're not going to stay in exile for long. The fact is, we're a two-party country based on our Constitution. Everyone always moves towards the middle, towards to getting 50% plus one. So Democrats have to moderate. They really can't continue left wing forever, as left wing as they are forever. Though that left wing will always be out there.
That left wing will always be out there, and I am not somebody who believes they have a capacity for moderation, but rather a moving and a distancing, a relocating, I should say, of where the center is, which is something that the Republican Party has always been the worst at. The left moves where the center is, and they move that center further left, and therefore the right is looked upon like they're more and more radical. Are there suggestions for how the right moves that center more in their direction, showing how out of touch the progressive left is?
Well, I think that's why I think you put in a very good way, as is your want. You've really expressed what I was talking about, which was a national consensus on basic issues like personal security, economic security, that moves the center back to a common sense place where we have prosperity and America is powerful and able to function coherently. I think you really put it in a good way. The Republicans are busy moving the center back. The left will always try and shift the center to give themselves power, but when you can shift it one way, you can shift it the other. It's not a ratchet.
Talking to Kurt Schlichter, the book will be back, The Fall and Rise of America. Now we get into where you probably meet the most of your criticism, and certainly people, including myself, meet this criticism. We're talking about, we are conservatives. I would say this about the both of us, much more than being Republicans, conservatives, but we align ourselves with the Republican Party when it comes to elections. That doesn't necessarily mean an alignment to a particular person, and in this case, we're talking about former President Trump. Is Will Be Back a conversation about Trumpism, or is Will Be Back a conversation about how to engage policy?
Well, look, first of all, I think Trumpism is a misnomer. I think Donald Trump was an avatar of a populist conservative movement that predated him and will be around long after he leaves the stage. I like Donald Trump. I think he was a great president. He did incredible things. He's certainly the best president since Ronald Reagan. He made some mistakes. I hope he learns from. Yeah, there is a large conversation, and we'll be back, The Fall and Rise of America at the end, about what we do in the short term and who the right guy is for 2024. Because I do believe individuals are important, and I believe Trump was important because he embodied that ideology. I think the ideology is the most important thing, and we need to figure out who's the right person to carry it forward. Is it Donald Trump? Is it Ron DeSantis? Is it someone else who is not Nikki Haley? Because it's not Nikki Haley. With Donald Trump, I want to see a vigorous primary. I don't want a coronation. I want to vote for the best Republican to be our candidate in 2024. And that means Donald Trump's got questions to answer, like, have you learned some, how to do personnel better? Because he famously did that poorly. On the other hand, Ron DeSantis, I don't know anything about his foreign policy. I'm going to go speak at his convention this weekend. Maybe I'll learn something there. But I think the American people want to know, are you, one of these Ukrainian flag intervention guys? Are you a total isolationist? Do you have a more nuanced view? Where do you come down, Governor DeSantis? And, people should criticize, people should challenge, and we should figure out who the best candidate is. Maybe it's Pompeo, maybe it's Cotton. I just want a vigorous primary, and then I want the GOP base to decide. It's not going to be one of those, here's your Jeb Bush. You'll take it and you'll like it.
Yeah, well. No one ever liked it. I'm just saying for the record.
No one liked that.
No one ever liked it. Let me move over to your latest article over at townhall.com, something we have discussed, you and I have discussed on the show. I discuss vigorously as we take a look. This is in the wake of a series of reprimands for the U.S. Navy regarding the fire on the USS Bonhomme Richard, a fire that didn't have to happen, that they've argued was completely preventable, but a lot of ignorance took place to destroy basically a warship and cost us billions of dollars and, of course, time in constructing new ships when we don't have enough ships at sea. So when you talk about the next Republican president must fix the military first, what do you mean?
Well, first of all, look, there's lots of problems in the military, but the most high-value target, the most bang for the buck, the quickest way to put a win on the board is to fix military culture. The military, being a hierarchical organization, responds to the commander's intent. Right now, the commander's intent is to focus on wokeness, and they're getting that. You get what you look at. The old saying is the soldiers do what the commander checks. If he checks wokeness, you're going to have wokeness. If he checks combat readiness, you'll have that. By simply applying power as commander-in-chief, by commanding, by making your intent clear that we are not doing diversity, inclusion, and equity. We are doing combat readiness, and more combat readiness, and ruthlessly weeding out people who are not meeting your intent, just like we do in battle. Because if you're not cutting it in contact with the enemy, okay, it's like, General, you're out. Deputy, you're in. Attack. That's how it works, and that's how it needs to work with the next president. Very quickly, he can make clear that he's going to fix the culture to a warrior ethos. That is a huge fix right there. Then you can start looking at acquisitions. Then you can start looking at force structure, strategy, technology. There are a lot of problems with our military. We haven't won a major war in 30 years. And I remember being there when we won that war. I got to say, winning's better than losing. I highly recommend it. But look, we have a bunch of generals. Let me ask you a question. Who's a general who's been fired for incompetence?
Well, not enough.
Yeah, I can't name you one. I can name you some people who were let go a little early, kinda. But I want to see heads on pikes, because that sends a message. If you're not getting it done, next, and we will find the guys who get it done.
Kurt Schlichter, that's his name. The book will be back, The Fall and Rise of America. You can find that at Amazon.com, where refined books are sold. Where are you speaking this weekend?
I'm going down to Fort Lauderdale to speak at, participate in the Sunshine Summit for Ron DeSantis and the Florida Republicans. Very excited to be down there. Should be lots of neat people. I will be going from sunshine of LA to the sunshine of Florida, and it'll be a lot of fun.
I think that's taking place at a local casino. Are you putting anything down on 23 Rouge?
I have a system for blackjack.
Oh, is that right?
Never fails.
Never fails.
Never fails. Never fails. I have a system. Tony.
No, say it again. Say it again. It's a lot more believable when you keep saying system.
I have a system. A lot of people will tell you to hit on a 16, but don't.
Kurt Schlichter is his name. Get the book. We'll be back. The Fall and Rise of America at Amazon.com. Always a pleasure, man. We've got more coming up. I'm Tony Katz.
Today I'm calling for a federal gas tax holiday.
Democrats
not going to provide significant savings at the pump.
Republicans.
Another gimmick, another Band-Aid.
So-called gas tax holiday.
Even Barack Obama called it a gimmick.
That is such an obvious gimmick. This is a plan that would save you pennies a day for the summer months.
Check in often.
All of us, Democrats, Republicans, Independents.
And hear the stories that affect all of us.
The American people.
This is 93 WIBC.
Real people are getting real and lasting pain relief at QC Kinetics.
Who would have thought that I would be in better shape now than after I got out of the Marines at 22?
It's great to be active again.
I've played 36 holes multiple days in a row without pain. Everything's great.
Are you tired of living with chronic joint pain? QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged tissue, natural healing agents from your own body, so your body can heal itself the way it was designed. With no pain pills, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
With Super 6
successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Thanks to QC Kinetics, quality of life is just a lot better.
Definitely changed my life.
Call now to see if regenerative medicine could be the answer you've been looking for. The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics have proven protocols that can give you lasting relief now, and the consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
Those who've built their own financial success know that moving forward requires not just the right tools, but an in-depth knowledge of how to use them. That's why Edelman Financial Engines gives you a dedicated wealth planner supported by a team of experts. We know a modern wealth planning relationship demands human insight powered by advanced technology. Our advice is tailor-made for your personal goals, and our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research. We model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. See what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
You like a company that really stands behind its product? Well, listen to what Diamonds Direct does. Let's say you buy a diamond today for $6,000, but later on you want to trade up to a larger diamond or maybe a different shape. Diamonds Direct will give you $6,600 towards the new diamond. That's a guaranteed 10% appreciation. Let me say it again. You paid $6,000 originally, but Diamonds Direct pays you $6,600 for that same diamond when you upgrade. 10% more for the same diamond. It's Diamonds Direct's 110% upgrade guarantee, and it applies to diamond pendants and diamond stud earrings as well. You get the extra 10% on a $3,000 diamond or a $30,000 diamond. Doesn't matter. No strings attached either. You can get the 110% trade-up value regardless of the cost of the new diamond. And you can upgrade as many times as you like. Now that's peace of mind. And that's a company that believes in its product. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Summer's in Indy, and since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. If you've been putting up with hard water or an old, lousy water softener for way too long, how about this deal? Invest in any water softener from C&J, well or city water, and get a free reverse osmosis drinking water system for absolutely the healthiest drinking water for your family. Plus 10% off any additional water treatment equipment. C&J has the best warranty in the business, and financing is available too. They're local, they're exceptional, they're affordable. 317-733-SOFT or cnjwater.com.
So we keep taking a look at economic indicators. I'm going to try and get some more economic stuff in the next hour. But there was this story from the Associated Press, right? We're seeing mortgage rates go up. We're seeing sales slow. Right, existing home sales fell 5.4% between June and May. But prices are still going up. Now, anecdotally, I'm seeing prices come down. I actually saw a house where I was like, I should make an offer on that house. It's actually too big for the need, but the layout was perfect. Beyond perfect for what I'm looking for. because I am looking for something just a touch bigger than what we have, and it would just be like, okay, this would work. Studios, plural. Like, I could do the whole thing. I could have everything on one floor. Fantastic. I mean, the house was already pending before I could turn around, but I also didn't know if I wanted to, engage a 5.8% mortgage compared to what I have now, etc.
Guest room for producer Ari.
Well, clearly, it did have a 3-car garage, but it.
Nice.
The price was a price I would have paid 3 years ago. I didn't even know how it was that low. It didn't make any sense. I'm like, what was actually wrong with this thing?
Haunted.
Dude, challenge accepted. Because I can smudge like a mother.
I don't even know what that means. It sounds gross.
No. Smudging. It's a way to get rid of the bad spirits. Look it up.
All right.
Look it up. I think it's Native American.
It might mean two things.
Dude. Why do you got to be like that? You keep that up, you won't have a job here past Wednesday. This is Tony Katz Today.
At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialist can handle any AC repair. Call 855-1HOUR for $50 off your repair or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an extreme flash flood.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Talk to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work. It's time to learn the truth about probiotics and join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align probiotics for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel. Get $2 off your first month of Align at alignprobiotics.com.
August 11th, returning to Carmel for one night only at the Palladium, the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Tickets on sale now at the Center's box office or online at thecenterpresents.org.
If you're looking to hire, look to Indeed. With Indeed's end-to-end hiring solution, you can attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa. Broadcasting from the Shepherd Community Center studio, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Is experiencing mild symptoms after returning from a trip to Massachusetts yesterday.
The president went to bed last night after his travel to Massachusetts feeling just fine, but he didn't sleep well and apparently woke up this morning with some mild symptoms. He was tired, he had a runny nose and a dry cough.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The president is fully vaccinated and has received 2 booster shots. Administration officials say the president will continue working as he isolates in the White House. He's also been prescribed the antiviral medication Paxlovid. The January 6th committee holds another primetime televised hearing tonight, saying they'll focus on former President Trump's actions during the violence at the U.S. Capitol.
The Select Committee will detail 187 minutes, the time span between the end of former President Trump's speech on January 6, 2021, and a recorded statement urging supporters to leave the Capitol. Committee investigators say during that time, President Trump refused to act or order additional resources to the Capitol. Aides for the panel have not confirmed who will testify in person, citing security and intimidation concerns. Tonight's primetime hearing is the final public session scheduled, though committee members have not ruled out additional testimony or hearings.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The number of Americans applying for new unemployment benefits last week rose to the highest level in more than 8 months, in what may be a sign that the labor market is weakening. The Labor Department today reporting that applications for jobless aid rose by 7,000 to 251,000. The number of Americans still collecting benefits last week rose by 51,000 from the previous week to 1,384,000. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They say the ban will have a negative effect on just about everything. It's sunny and 86 in the Circle City. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 102. A ban on abortion in Indiana would be bad for women and bad for business, says the ACLU of Indiana in a Thursday news conference.
Restricting access to comprehensive reproductive health care, including